Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the GT New Zealand Championship for round 2. It is the 20th of July 2026 and it is great to be back here. Round 1 was a spectacle. We had those beautiful Yaris's driving around the track like absolute maniacs. It was brilliant. I loved it. And now we've got round 2. 2 races a day yet again, 10 minutes of qualifying for each race. Race 1 coming up in a few moments' time. Quali will begin for that in 5 minutes. My name is George Cook and I'll be your lead commentator, and with me again is Matthew Smith. Matthew, welcome in, mate. It's great to be back again, and we've got round 2 ahead of us.
Thank you, George. Yeah, it's exciting to be here, isn't it? We've had the first round of the National Championship and it has lived up to that expectation. So round 2 tonight hopefully just continues that trend.
Yeah, and welcome to everyone watching around the world on NZ Sim Racing TV. Great to have you in here on YouTube. And of course, a big thanks to all the sponsors involved in this event. The first place champion, the one champion, going to be going for a real-world drive thanks to Toyota GAZOO Racing New Zealand, the prize sponsor and the primary sponsor of this event, and of course supported by NZ Esports as well as the NZ Sim Racing Collective. Go and check them out on their respective websites. We have also got a hectic race moment, Matt, and it was a pretty good one because those Yaris's, it was all go.
The Yaris's were exciting, weren't they? There was so much fun in those cars.
There was so many moments through that death chicane
as we expected, but some nice clean overtakes as well. This one from Lewis, sneaking up the inside on the exit here of 2 cars, taking the opportunity. What a move that was. He then decides to play it sensible, unlike maybe some of the other drivers during the race. He tucks in behind during the death chicane.
Every corner you look, you can't afford
the exit as well to get that second overtake sealed and done. Gets just about done. Great driving from Lewis there. He's picked up the Hectic Moment Award from the first round, and he's going to have a PlayStation Network voucher coming his way. I think as well, the context of that move, to be able to pull off that driving with 2 laps to go, racing against the front of the field, it was just awesome to see from Lewis.
Very impressive driving indeed. We hope to see more of that today. Championship standings are thusly. Simon Bishop on top. He's got 1 win to his name, 2 podiums. He's been in the top 10 twice, 27 points, only 2 though ahead of second place Matt McEwen with the exact same stats other than that 1 change in position. I tell you, it's going to be a close one this time out. Lewis Atkinson actually over at the UCI BMX World Championships in Australia at the moment, so he's unable to attend today, but he's on 18 points in 3rd place and he'll have some fighting back to do in round 3. Ben Groves finds himself in 4th position, 1 point ahead of Gareth Collier, who's got 1 podium to his name. Can he extend that today? Another single point separates him from Alex Little and Reese Davidson. Scotty Greenlees in 8th position on 7 points. Then we've got Philip Smith, not able to attend tonight as well. Amit Biswas in 10th. Tom England, Ben McDonald, Matthew Budd, and Olaf Flesch round out the top 14. And speaking of Tom England, here's the man himself.
And this is one of the names that's famous in New Zealand, Gran Turismo. He's back again after having raced internationally a few years ago. He's back at the New Zealand Championship level. He had a somewhat disappointing race in round number 1, but looking at the practice times, he might be fired up, ready to go for round 2. I'm excited to see it. As I say, he's certainly a top driver. He's also been a top host as well and a top bloke, getting amongst it in the New Zealand scene and helping New Zealand scene expand in terms of sim racing.
Exactly, and keep an eye out for his driver cam today. I believe he has the, well, he's got the best garage that we've seen so far in terms of his background. He currently has the cat vibing to Levon polka drumming going on in the background, so keep a very close eye for that one. I think we're going to have a Tom England garage moment of the week, because I tell you what, it is super entertaining. We have 60 seconds to go. Let's jump back to our round slide. Tell us all about Montreal as we get going.
Yeah, Montreal is going to be a great, wow. I mean, Great. I'm going to find it great. I think some of the drivers have been complaining about Montreal already. It's going to be a great challenge, shall we say. Shall we put it that way? In these Toyota 86s, we've got the road cars here for race number 1, and we've got those comfort soft tires just to make it a bit of a challenge. It's not going to be a cruisy drive in these things. As much as these cars are great to drive, you put them on slippery tires, they become a bit more difficult. Just 1 times tire wear, 1 times fuel, so we're not expecting a pit stop in this race. It's a flat out 16 laps, lights to flag.
Of course, and this is one of those circuits that has actually been recently introduced to Gran Turismo, not one of the ones that was there by default. So it's going to be a good one. You have 4.3 kilometers. It's a long circuit, 14 corners, Wall of Champions, as we mentioned before. Long straight, heavy braking zone. We would say unpredictable weather, but it's only cloudy out there, so not too bad out on track. And I think it is now time for us to head to qualifying. So we'll see you down there at the circuit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Montreal Grand Prix circuit. Gilles Villeneuve, who was located in Quebec, Canada. We said before, 14 corners. I tell you what, the top speed of these cars, not particularly good. Clan Fever going sideways. A lot of people going sideways already. It's kicking off. We're keeping an eye on the car of Simon Bishop at the moment. McEwen, the only one not out there on a lap already. Another thing to note as well, Matt, is we've turned off equal conditions modes, which means that the weather is essentially changing all the time, if only ever so slightly.
Yeah, absolutely right. And the critical part of that really is the track temperature. That's going to affect the tire temperature, and also the wind direction and strength. So they'll be checking that on this outlap, getting their eye in, making sure they're adjusting to the conditions as they continue to evolve throughout the session as well.
Here we go on board with Atom. So he's still on his outlap, and you can see coming down to that really tricky braking zone. This is one of the heaviest braking zones. You see the Formula One cars come down here. They take a much wider line trying to open up that exit, but you use that left runoff area, as Atom has done beautifully, up to 100 kilometers per hour now as they barrel down this long straight from turn 11, 12 into the braking zone at 13. So you see he's hugging that right-hand side. There is a small kink coming up here. That's your penalty serving line, so it's gonna hurt if you get penalties today, and we are gonna see some penalties today. I'll let Matt explain why, but that is where you're gonna serve it. It's extremely painful. Now through 13 and 14, look at how the car wants to not maintain any grip. He's gone sideways. That is a near miss with the Wall of Champions for Tom.
Wasn't it close? And I think that's going to be a theme, like attacking those curbs through the chicanes through there is something we're going to continue to see throughout qualifying and the race at this track. They really want to try and straighten up those chicanes as much as possible, carry the momentum through the corners. It's really key in these cars is to try and keep that momentum, which means they are going to try and straight line these corners, and that's where that penalties that you were discussing there comes into play. If you do take it too far, the game is keeping track of where you are on the track, and you see 2 tires on the track is okay, so Adam was okay through there, but if you push it too much, it will ping you with those penalties, and that could be a feature when it comes to the race time.
That will be now. Of course, my most recent recollection of watching cars at this track was Formula One, not in person, unfortunately. Would love to go up to Quebec to watch them drive around a circuit like this. It is absolutely spectacular. Coming now down towards the middle part of Sector 2 into Turn 8, and Kimi Antonelli is a name that we're all now very, very familiar with in the world of motorsport. Through here, absolutely mighty. That is the corner where George Russell's car decided to end his race. Hopefully we do not see that today. Only 12 cars on the grid, missing Lewis Atkinson and Philip Smith, and we've just seen, there you go, Andrew Little has just picked up a penalty.
Oh, there we go. First man to do it in qualifying. That's going to ruin his lap. He'll come around, serve that penalty. He will immediately serve that penalty. So thankfully it will just ruin the 1 lap, and he'll be able to reset and go again on the next one. Of course, we have a 10-minute qualifying session here, 3.5 minutes into it at the moment. The lap time is about 2 minutes. So there's plenty of time to get a few laps in, but every time you make a little mistake like that, you're ramping up the pressure for the next lap. There's less and less opportunity when you do something like that.
And let us know in chat, how did you find round 1? We had 2 races, of course. It was a really, really good way to open up the series. Tom England takes too much curb. He's gone around, and, well, it's not the familiar part of the Wall of Champions that he's hit. He's hit the other side, which is a little bit more unusual, but that's going to be his qualifying lap, and it did look like a good one as Little picks up the top lap, now beaten by Bishop, now beaten by Scotty Ray, and Big Head Ted with an almighty 157.8.
and that is a good lap in the board. I have been looking at the mini-map as well. You can see one driver just on the complete opposite side of the track, and this is something we saw in the previous round. McEwen is leaving it till last. He's just found space out there, no distractions from any other drivers making mistakes around him. He waited an extra about a minute in the pit lane to let everyone else go ahead of him. And we're just going to wait to see, because McEwen was looking quick in practice. Can he be the one to challenge that time from Big Head Ted, who's set a great benchmark early, half a second clear of the next driver?
I mean, I think this is what we were talking about last week with Big Head Ted. This is his element. He's a man who lives on the edge of grip. Oh, there we go. And it's a half a second again. In fact, it's closer to 0.6 of a second from McEwen, a 57.2. And so not only does Big Head Ted love to live on the edge of grip, and actually he prefers to be sideways. I believe he's a sideways sleeper, just like he drives. But Matt McEwen certainly has found the way to get himself some seriously quick lap times, and that 57.2 is mighty.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult for anyone to try and match, I think. Just straight away, McEwen's put an absolute stormer down on that first lap. I'm sure some of these drivers will be looking at that time thinking, how on earth is he doing that? Because that is incredible. And that is what we talk about, the benchmark in this series. These are international quality drivers, having experienced racing at the Gran Turismo World Series. And McEwen's bringing that sort of pace into the New Zealand Championship and really asking everyone else, what have you got to try and challenge this?
Yeah, exactly. This is why it's such a challenge for many of these drivers. Just watching Scotty Ray, he served a penalty a few moments ago. I believe that is, it's not Tom England behind him, it's Big Head Ted behind him. So there we go. I'm being asked in chat, what is a sideways sleeper? Well, it's nothing rude, don't worry. Just means you sleep on your side. Just in case anyone's imagination is deciding to run away with them today. Ben Groves goes up into P4.138 ahead of Scotty. And there's a few names up here, Supra and Crimson, who we didn't see towards this side of qualifying. Now, the long lap here really does test the driver's patience and motivation. They've got to be on the edge of grip all the way throughout these corners. But they've got this massive break on these straights as well. It's a frustrating lap to drive, I think.
Yeah, it is. And every corner is so critical to get right. And these tires with the, such hard tires or not grippy enough tires make it really challenging in these braking zones to just nail it. But it seems that so far it's McEwen, Big Head Ted. Little has gotten into the 57s as well. So Alex Little with a strong lap time. And really, Simon Bishop, we've seen quicker from him in practice. So this is the driver I'm looking to move forward, as well as potentially Adam still recovering. And he should be able to get a lap in shortly. We'll have to keep an eye on where Adam pops up when he does get a valid lap on the board.
There we go. It's a good personal best sector there for Simon Bishop. This is going to be the key lap for him. Finds himself down in 6th. Now, I believe we did have an interesting situation come up. It was Matt McEwen believes he's not good at this circuit and is good at Red Bull Ring but doesn't like it. And then Simon Bishop doesn't like Red Bull Ring, is bad at it, but does like this place, and yet we find him in 6th place. I'll probably have to go back in the stream and just check the interviews as well, just to be doubly sure.
No, I think you have got that right, but at the moment it's certainly the other way around, isn't it? So maybe at Red Bull Ring we're gonna get the opposite as well. And it'll just be they're all just telling us porkies in the interviews. We'll see how this one plays out. It's
a new level of sandbagging where they are trying to psychologically sort out their competition.
Oh, no. Adam's gone round, so he made the mistake on the previous lap. Is this also at the same place?
It's the same place. It's Water Champions.
He's made the same mistake. Oh no, Adam, and he's going to reset to the pits. What have we got? 8 minutes left. I think he's done. I think Adam has to start at the back of the grid.
Yeah, he does not have enough time to complete an outlap. So the qualifying session will be closed by the time he would get going again. That was his last chance, and the lap time just wasn't there. And he's done it again. I mean, that's so unfortunate for Atom. It might have something to do with the bongo cat happening in the background at his garage. We shall see. But it is a real shame to see Tom down the bottom of the grid. That said, he's going to have some potential slipstream. He might be able to avoid some of the accidents that do happen. Clam Fever going sideways as well through the middle sector. Gosh, it is terrifying. These cars, so we are on the comfort soft tires today. There is, well, I'm not sure quite how far away we are from an ice rink, but as you can see, Clan Fever showing us how it's done on the Comfort Softs.
And that was a perfect example, right, of the challenge of these cars on these tires, as you were explaining it. He's getting loose on the exit. When you put the power down, these R86s are in road car spec, but they do have enough power to get loose on these tires, particularly when you're trying to throw it into these corners. Some of these guys being really aggressive, trying to get through, carry the speed through these corners. But there is a limit, and they will find it. I will say, actually, on Adam starting at the back, you talked about him potentially getting some overtakes during the race now as a result of that. He had one of the moves that was up for the hectic moment of round number 1. He had a triple overtake from the back of the grid in the single hairpin in the first race. It was a mega move. So I wonder if he'll be able to channel that energy, try and get some moves up the field here in race number 1 once again to be starting down the order.
You may be able to. Ben Groves, unfortunately, not able to improve. Having a really cool livery this week. And I believe there's a couple of special liveries on the grid. I believe that's one of them. Tom's going to be another. So who's left on a lap right now? McEwen is on a lap currently. He's coming down to the last couple of corners right this moment into the Wall of Champions. Well, through the chicane next to the Wall of Champions, I should say. If I cursed him, we'll find out in a moment, folks. No, he's kept it together. Bishop goes up to second. That is a mighty lap from Bishop. He's still half a second away, but he's put it just in front of Alex Little. And wow, McEwen improves and adds a 0.1 to his qualifying time. That is stunning work from McEwen. Again, dominant in the qualifying, dominant now so far at the Montreal GP. Great stuff from Bishop. That was the late lap that he absolutely needed. That was essential.
It was. We were asking questions whether he could reproduce his practice pace, and he leaves it to the last moment, makes that run to the line as time expires, up into second place. So that is a great starting position for him. And it's the two rivals from the first round, McEwen and Bishop, starting on the front row. You couldn't ask for much better.
Yeah, you certainly couldn't. And that lap by Alex Little was also extremely impressive. Just managed to get ahead of Reese Davidson in 4th position. They'll be starting on the same row of the grid. And I don't know what's going to happen at the start of this race. Turn 1, you're straight into that left hand, into the long right-hander in turn 2. It's a late apex exit as well, so they'll be wanting to be on the outside, maybe actually find a way to get down on the power as soon as possible, but expect a lot of sideways moments at the beginning of this race. We'll have the results up in a few moments' time. There's quite a long tail on this qualifying session given the length of the circuit. We're just waiting for the cars to file back into the pit lane. Let us know in chat, who do you think is going to take it today? Who do you think is going to be on top for this incredible opening race of round 2? We're being told we do now have the results up. We'll go there now. So on your screens right now, McEwen, of course, with a 57.1, and look at the gap there between him and Simon Bishop. The man has found the best kind of Weet-Bix, whatever it is. Weet-Bix with peanut butter, Weet-Bix with kiwis, Weet-Bix by themselves, and Weet-Bix without milk. We don't know, but it's definitely going to be one of them. And McEwen has found that combination today, even though it's quite late in the day. But, you know, you can have Weet-Bix at dinner. I've seen it done before. Bishop in second place, followed by Alex Little. Then Big Head Ted will line up on the second row of the grid. Scotty Ray will be beside Sly Ben the Cat. That's Ben Groves, both hovering in that very low 158. Gareth Collier, not the best qualifying he has had so far this championship. In P7, he'll be alongside Scar to begin this race. That's Matthew Budd looking down the grid. Supra, that's Biswaz in P9. Unusual to see him there. Then Crimson, Ben McDonald in P10, and he'll be just ahead of good old Clan Fever, Olaf Flesch, and Tom England, with no time actually set on the grid. So that is a real surprise. We are looking forward to seeing exactly what's going to happen with this round 2. Matt, give us your breakdown.
Yeah, there's two stories here, I think. How big of a gap McEwen has on the rest of the field. In race 1, in the previous round, the interview afterwards, he talked about how he was expecting maybe to be able to drive away from the field. He thought he had the pace, but then the slipstream brought the other cars into play, and also that mistake he ended up making cost him there. So I wonder if he's going to think about trying to make a gap early here and try and break the slipstream. It's going to be difficult to do, but that is really the question about McEwen, because the gaps behind him between Simon, Alex Little, Reese, in 4th. They're all so close. There's like nothing between the rest of the field. It's just that big gap out to McEwen. So we'll keep an eye on whether he can pull away from the field. And then, of course, the other story being Adam at the back. Tom England making 2 mistakes at the Wall of Champions. You know, if he's got anything going for him, it is the fact that it was the Wall of Champions where he made the mistake. Could he become a last to first champion? That's what he'll be aiming for as we get ready to go racing.
Here we go. 5 lights are on. False starts will be penalized. Everyone's away nicely, and round 2 begins now. 16 laps ahead of us for this Montreal GP race. McEwen pulls in. He wants to open up that first quarter entry. Bishop has a good run too. Bit of contact there. Little and Big Ed Ted getting together on that opening lap, and they've come together again as the concertina effect into turn 2. They all have to slow down once again. Happens now away. And I can see in the background there, Scotty Ray and Dive Cable going to be potentially going at it quite soon. Remember, penalties are going to play a big part in this, so making sure you're not making too many mistakes early on is going to be absolutely critical. Matt McEwen doesn't want to be making any of those mistakes. He nearly came together with the wall for a moment there. Potential opportunity in P7 for Gareth Collier, but great start from the entire field so far. A little bit of contact between Alex Little and Big Head Ted to get us started, but Big Head Ted up into 3rd. That is the big move.
Yeah, Big Head Ted so strong in these road cars on these loose tyres. Lost a couple of spots in that qualifying, right at the end of qualifying. Coming in strong early in this race, and we saw how aggressive he was with the overtakes last week. Is he going to reproduce this here? He's already so close. Look how tucked in behind Simon Bishop here. I'm sure Simon will be wary of what happened last week, how aggressive Ben was. Does he go defensive early? Not this time around. There he goes, though. He is going to go aggressive down the inside of the hairpin. There's contact between them. And straight away, it's come into play. That's going to open the door. McEwen is going to be loving this. He'll be pulling away ahead of them as Little's in behind now getting involved. And on the first lap, we're all go in the GT New Zealand Championship.
Yeah, and looking back further, I saw 3 wide for a moment there. Clam Fever, Scar, and Atom all going for it. Atom not made a position yet. Both Clam Fever and Chrism up by 1 position in this race. Adam trying to make sure he's not going to be left behind at the back of the field. McEwen out to a 1.6 second gap now as we come through the Wall of Champions for the first time. Does everyone survive? Ben Groves up a position. He's overtaken Scotty Ray. They're coming down toward turn 1. 3 wide. Alex Little in the middle. Down the inside goes Scotty Ray. Can he get the braking? No, he can't. And it's going to be Ben Groves trying around the outside line. But Alex Little doesn't look like he has the best connection for this particular race. Ben Groves gets a little bit sideways, puts the power down, but there's a car in front of him of Alex Little. Exciting entry there. 3 wide into turn 1.
Yeah, and that all kicked off from Alex having a little tap of the wall at the Wall of Champions. That slowed up his exit. All those cars in behind him closed right up, tried to make the move. It was actually a good recovery there down at turn 1 for Alex to emerge still in 4th position after all of that. But shoot, they are really going for it through that section, are they? And really flirting with disaster.
Oh, and speaking of disaster, that looked like a bit of an impact for Ben Groves. No damage to the car, fortunately for him. No pit stops going to be required in the 16-lap race, as I understand it. 80 litres of fuel is the initial starting fuel, so just making the cars a little bit lighter for this, which is really helpful. Ben Groves all out of shape through that section. Will there be an opportunity? Dive Cable might be able to take opportunity that comes to him because he's overtaken Scotty Ray, and a 0.5 second penalty to Ben Groves.
That's going to be costly because look how close these 2 drivers are behind him. They just need to tuck in because Ben Groves is going to be on those brakes for half a second. That's how the penalty gets applied. The amount of length of the penalty is how long the game automatically applies the brakes. That's going to be long enough for both these drivers to slip past, I'm sure, although them racing side by side has opened that gap a little bit, hasn't it? So there's a few extra car lengths, but I think Ben Groves is going to be too vulnerable. They're going to have to choose which way they go here because Ben is going to defend his line, and he has every right to down into the corner, and he might be able to just hang on. Look how close they get between them.
I was hoping for a Hacken and Schumacher moment. Oh, Scotty Ray's gone too deep in it, though. He's picked up a penalty. Gareth Collier, he's picked up a penalty, but only 0.5. Ben Groves has survived somehow. He's going to have Collier on the inside line. He'll have to go wide and deep into turn 1, and it'll be a really sharp corner for him to get out of in turn 2. Scotty Ray pushing him along. A little bit of a bump there on the exit, and both of them picking up a penalty. So that fighting ultimately cost them, and I believe that Super is going to be there to pick up the pieces of this one.
Goodness me, it's so back and forth, isn't it? You can't afford to make any sort of little half mistake. You can't afford to have these moments, because with these cars so close, I mean, that's a great shot of it there. Look how close, there's nothing between them at the moment. And as they come around and do take these penalties, they're going to drop right back and give Ben Groves a little bit of a breathing room once again. But there's still a few corners to go before they get to that point.
Yeah, Ben Groves, we know he's got good pace, the young man. 17 or 18 years. He's very young, that is for sure. But he's a young man. He's involved in real motorsports in New Zealand and Australia. And I believe, you know, he's got an opportunity in front of him here. But see the gap between him and fourth place now starting to grow, and it's really as a result of this battle that's been going on and the penalty that he's already served. There's not going to be a huge amount of slipstream to worry about with these cars. You can see the top three there. Alex Little putting a bit of pressure on Big Ed's head as Ben Groves goes very deep. There's a bit of contact there as Scotty Ray touches the rear quarter of Gareth Collier. They're both going to be serving penalties in a few moments' time. They've just gone through turn 10. So about midway through sector 3 between turns 12, which is this little kink to the right, and turn 13. Here it is now, the yellow on the sides. We're going to see 1 and 2. Oh, it's so awkward. Where's Supra going to end up? Well, he's coming through right now.
He's going to make the most of it. He is going to get that one spot, move up into 7th, and then slam over these curbs once again. Don't go too wide on the exit.
No.
Oh, he has taken too much. It's Supra's turn to pick up the penalty. We talked about how the penalties would be a feature, but this particular group, I think being tucked into a car so close in front of you makes it hard to pick your line, and they're ending up just making those little mistakes, running wide, cutting these corners, and that's what's giving them the penalties.
Good defense there from Biswas coming into turn 1. Gives no room for Scotty Ray to come on through, but ultimately probably not going to be too much of it once the penalty is applied, and Scotty Ray will be able to get back through. But look who's right behind them. Scar is right there. Matthew Budd, not a driver we've had on air for too long, but he is going to be right there. No penalty to his name right now. As there goes Scotty Ray. Beautiful up the inside line it is. Supra can't do anything about it at all. Tries to go defensive, but what a move from Scotty Ray up the inside line.
Man, it's great to see, isn't it? There were some questions about how easy it would be to overtake here. They're definitely having to work for it, but it can be done. Love to see it.
And again, here we go. An attempt around the outside. Supra not able to do it. So both Biswas and Bud in the same livery. It's the default livery we provide to the drivers if they don't have time or don't have someone who can go and make a livery for them. Now this wonderful TWC livery from Scotty Ray, one of the best on the grid in my humble opinion. Looking back, and it is Tom England. He's up a few positions now to P10 and trying to chase down this group. And if the penalties keep coming thick and fast like they have been, I'll tell you, Tom has got a chance to get himself a little bit further up in that top 10. Back at the top, the gap, 6 seconds. And Matthew McEwen sliding his way with a pixel or two between him and the Wall of Champions. He is completely in control of this race right now.
He is, but I tell you what, second place has had a fight on our hands. Little has managed to get through. Big Head's head made a move on Simon Bishop, but it was a clumsy one. They sort of compromised each other in the hairpin, slowed each other down. Alex Little capitalized on that and has gotten the overtake done. Big Head's head still fighting it though, as Simon will be wanting to get through now. Yep, he's willing to be aggressive a bit more perhaps after that move from Big Head's head. He's been roughed up, maybe just serving one back there, tapping the back of Reese's car, getting him loose in return for what he received a few corners earlier.
Yeah, it does smell like Simon Bishop probably served a penalty and lost those positions. So the time loss coming to the best of the drivers on the grid down the inside line. That's where we saw Scotty Ray make the move on Ben Groves. Unfortunately, someone not able to do it. And there goes Sly Ben the Cat. Ben Groves now going for the aggressive overtake. Behind them, Gareth Collier. Not able to make that happen. He actually slams into the wall. Not ideal for him, but Simon Bishop is being swallowed by the field right now.
He is, and again, it was a little bit of tap in the side of the car that got him loose. He won't be happy with that. Well, we're going to get a great close-up of, and penalty received from Ben as well. So that he's going to drop off at the end of this. But I was going to say we've got Colonel Sidog on the side of his car. If you do spot that on some of the replays, there's a little bit of an Easter egg on the Toyota. But he's... Ooh, constantly having cars close in behind him. Little mistake there from Ben, and I think he's probably got pressure behind as well. So just juggling attack versus defense, the mindset of what are you trying to go for. He's going to serve this penalty and drop off, and maybe that's sort of the relief that Simon needs to get back in his groove and try and focus forward as well.
Yep, and of course we know Simon Bishop can put in the good laps. Did qualify right up there in second place. So Gareth Collier goes on through. Ben Groves, after that penalty is served. And bear in mind, in GT7, there is a strong penalty as well. You can get Gareth Collier not on the brakes. He's a little bit out of line. He couldn't quite bring it back over to the left-hand side to open up the final turn 13 and 14. And he's picked up a penalty. So they really are playing a bit of push me, push you sort of. It's back and forth at the moment, isn't it?
It really is, and I was just ready to start hyping this man up. One of the drivers we expect to be fighting at the front. He's moved up a couple of positions from a 7th place qualifying position, and then that penalty might end up costing him a spot as a result of that. So unfortunate for Gareth. We know what he's capable of, but it just seems to be a few mistakes creeping in along the way that are costing him.
Yes, exactly. And bear in mind as well, we do have a few driver cams we will bring up throughout the stream, and we're looking forward to the interviews as well. Hopefully we get a few more using the cameras. We had a small technical issue last time out with the way that phones and our platform interact, but we believe we've got that mostly sorted, so we'll be able to bring up a few of the driver cams. At the moment, I believe that they're all going to be hyper-focused on the track. Probably a little bit white knuckle given the way that these cars perform. And Gareth Collier, he has been sliding sideways in a number of these corners. That 1 second penalty will cost him, but unfortunately for Simon Bishop, he's got yet another car coming up behind him. Times one tire wear, remember, for this race. That means these tires are not going to really wear at all. Not that that would really matter, because you're basically driving on ice skates as it is.
Yeah, exactly. This is essentially a sprint. They're not going to worry too much about the tyre wear. Not going to see any pit stops, so they just have to be flat out. So Dive Cable does seem to have the pace. Look at, he closed that gap in towards Simon, but that penalty is going to cost him, and he's going to drop back again. And as well, Big Head Ted has closed that gap in front as well. Yeah, there's that penalty being served, and that's what that was the speed difference there that just put me off for a second, but that's because he had to serve that penalty. And again, the innings wide towards that fence. He might lose the spot here. Gareth might have a run, maybe not quite enough to be brave, but he does have to go defensive. Gareth's going to try and look around the outside. Does have a good run. Too difficult to try and do it around the outside there, but if he can cross it back, this could be a move. Difficult to do as Ben's defensive and manages to hang on for the time being.
Oh, Ben Groves, and he's off the track a little bit there as well. I was about to say not going to do too much for his tyre health, but actually the gravel will probably give you grip, if anything, at this point. I mean, we can't emphasize enough that these drivers are literally on the edge of grip every time they turn the steering wheel. These cars are not compliant at all on the comfort softs. If they were on racing soft tyres, it would be quite the different race, but I think well pointed out there, we've got Andrew Little still sitting in second place, 8 seconds the gap out to McEwen. This gives McEwen a really good lead in the championship standings. He's only 2 ahead of Simon Bishop at the moment in the championship standings. After this race, it will be a relatively larger amount, probably upwards of 8 or 9. Big Eb Ted coming through, not sideways this time, fortunately for him. I think he's realizing that holding on to a 3rd place here would be pretty good, and if he really gets his head down, gets some good laps in there, he'll find himself quickly being in a position to overtake Alex Little once again. I mean, that 59.1, pretty decent. But if you compare that to Matt McEwen, 157.6, so he's only about half a second away from his best qualifying time. His fastest lap of the race is as fast as the others went in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, McEwen's just in another world, isn't he? It's incredible to witness it. And it's also incredible how close the sort of next 6 cars are. So McEwen's way off in the distance, but there we go. There's a perfect shot of all 6 cars on that straight together, still battling it out as now Gareth tries to get that position back side by side into the chicane. They get it sorted. No, he's in the fence on the exit. That's going to slow him down, and I'm sure Ben's going to be straight back in this. Tucks in behind, might not have the run, so maybe didn't get as good of an exit as he needed They're going to go side by side into turn 1. Gareth defensively really wants to hang on to that position. He had to fight to get the spot the first time, cost himself with the penalty, and he fights on. They're losing time to the cars in front, but they're almost going 3 wide on the exit. Ben really wants this as well. They're both holding on for this top 5 down to the next chicane. Can they do it? Oh, the crossback from Gareth. Oh, there might have been a little touch between them. Gareth gets through, and he's ahead for the time being.
That was hectic. Ben Groves gave him another chance, through into 6 and 7. He's on the inside line. Gareth cuts him off, does get through the apex first. And that is a good little move there from Gareth, but I don't know, questionable at turn 3 and 4. I would say Scotty Ray's still in this, and Scotty Ray actually gave Ben Groves a little bit of a bump through 2, which is probably part of the reason why they ended up side by side. Now he's going to try and take 5th position. This is costing them in their race against Simon Bishop, but what a battle we've got on screen right now. Ben Groves going slightly sideways there. Hopefully that's not a penalty. Boy, oh boy, it is so close the way these drivers are putting it on these apexes. And there we go. There is a picture now live of Ben Groves, who is going to be white knuckle on that steering wheel, holding on for dear life as the comfort softs complain underneath him.
Absolutely right. Remember, this is the driver that came 3rd in the last championship. He's got number 3 on the side of the car. We know he can pedal. And last week we're having a little bit of look at his driving technique in terms of how much he's using that wheel, trying to hustle these cars through the corners. I think particularly in these road cars that we're seeing in race number 1, that's sort of a driving style that works out well. In race number 2, we're going to head into the GT3, which I'm excited to see. Fastest race car with... Oh man, I just hold my breath when they go through there. Look how loose these cars get. I'll finish that thought. The GT3s will be the fastest cars we've seen so far in the championship in the second race here tonight. So that will be a chance with a bit more grip, a bit smoother driving. But it's great that we can see this driver cam of how Ben is tackling these corners and completely focused at the moment. Look at him just locked in, focused on the car in front, trying to make sure he hangs on to the position ahead of the car behind as well.
Exactly right. I mean, I was going to say the driving style I developed in GT7 was turn the wheel as much as possible and then pray. But I am not a good driver. That's why I'm here behind a microphone. So these drivers have a little bit more tact, a little bit more discipline in terms of what they're actually doing on the steering wheel. Great technique, and of course GT7 is a great platform to go racing on. Loose moment there for Ben Groves. You can see him fighting the wheel on the exit, trying to get the power down as soon as possible, but this car does not want to comply at all. But definitely one of the beautiful things about Gran Turismo 7, there are so many options. You want to drive cars from the 1950s, 60s, go ahead. You want to drive cars from the future, jump in a Vision X, and then absolutely send it. It is brilliant. So the great thing is that this New Zealand GT New Zealand Championship, not defined by being the best GT3 driver in GT7. There's a move by Scotty Ray. Ben Groves gets out the way. Probably didn't need to. Scotty was backing out, but psychological pressure there from Scotty Ray, and he manages to get through. But yeah. This championship defined by those who can wrangle every car available in this platform. Scotty Ray, wow. That was a taunt, and it worked.
Yeah, it looked like it could have been dangerous, didn't it? And Ben Groves thought it was heading in the dangerous direction. He got well out of it, so a big dodge there cost him the spot. That maybe is a little bit of a glimpse of his mindset. He wants to make it through this race. Doesn't want to get caught up in the drama. Maybe backing himself to have the pace to get the overtake done at a future lap. We still have 7 laps to go, so there's definitely still time. Stay in this race and keep fighting on in the next one.
Indeed. So Scotty Ray up to 6th. Let's review where the race is. It's so tempting to stay on this for the rest of the race. I'm sure the directors in the broadcast booth.
We might need to jump to second.
What I thought might be going on. Here we go. Okay, so there is now a couple of really good battle packs happening here on the 10th lap of the race. 16 laps in total, so not too far to go in this. Big Head Ted has found his second wind. He doesn't have a second wing on this at all. Doesn't have a single wing on this particular car. By the way, if you do see that some cars have a wing and some don't, it is purely cosmetic. Does not affect the car at all. So Big Head Ted, not the cleanest though through that section, Matt.
No, just as I was saying we need to go and have a look, we jump on and have a look at Big Head Ted, and he makes a little mistake and loses a few car lengths, and that sort of takes the sting out of that battle for the time being, and in fact somewhat brings Bishop back into it. So he's still a part of this. He's lurking there. He hasn't caught up maybe as quickly as I hoped. I hoped for the sake of the racing he was going to catch up quickly and get back in this fight. But the two in front, I'm sure, would have been hoping for different things. But yeah, he's still lurking. Oh, very close closing up on this lap. So definitely an opportunity for Simon to get back in this fight after, getting shuffled down early on.
I think there we go. We've got a commentator's curse from Matt and also a Freudian slip. He's clearly a big head Ted fan. Loves what Rhys Davidson does out on track. he's a good guy. I do recall a couple of years ago doing an interview with him, and he had this amazing persona that he put on for it. It was just one of the best interviews I've ever done. It was absolutely brilliant. There we go, sideways again through the wall of champions and onto the 11th lap of this race. McEwen out front in first position. Fastest lap to his name, 58.0 that last lap. Big Ed Ted, it was a 58.4. And Bishop back here, 58.8. So he is catching these two, and the more that they battle, the more it brings them in. You can see the battle we were on board with just before, sort of playing out just behind us as they go through turn 2. Now for, I believe, the 6th last time of this first race. Originally, it was a 22-lap race with these cars. Big moment for Big Ed Ted, but he's a man who's comfortable on the outside of grip, and he was certainly outside the grip levels there.
Oh my goodness, I'm losing my breath watching this race because there's so many moments that I just catches in my throat seeing these cars lose it sideways. But for the most part, they manage to hang on to it. They catch them right up next to the wall. A few times they've tapped it, but nothing too dramatic. Particularly Big Head Ted is always sliding around, but always hanging onto it and catching it and carrying the speed as well, which is so impressive. It's one thing to have these moments. I know if I was sliding around there, I'd be, losing seconds per lap. But look at him, he's completely different racing line to Simon Bishop through there, but not compromised. Still gets the exit speed.
He's driving it like a rally car. He's oversteering it and then allowing the car's momentum. So he's got this precision that he's sort of, I don't know if he's trained for it or if that's just something natural about his driving style or if he's more familiar with it, but he's oversteering the car like a rallycross car or even a rally car, and then allowing the car's momentum to essentially guide him through the corners. I mean, it's a great technique to watch. It's extremely useful in these sorts of races, but once we get to the high downforce GT3s, it won't be quite as useful for him to do that unless he ends up sideways in a collision with another car. So keep that in mind. This is the roller coaster that is Rhys Davidson's driving style, that is so impressive and yet sometimes can maybe not be as effective as he wants it to be. One more lap down. We're on lap 12 now in this race. And of course, Alex Little, I keep calling him Andrew Little, my apologies. That is a very, very different person. We do not have a former political leader and mayor of Wellington in here racing, although that'd be quite impressive if it was. Alex Little himself still holding on. He's actually been setting some really good lap times. It's so consistent. Look at on the right-hand side there.
Absolutely right, and that, is so helpful, just being calm, controlled, avoiding any of these mistakes we've seen from a couple of the other drivers, hasn't been picking up the penalties, and is just maintaining that gap at the moment to Big Head Ted in behind him. That's what he needs to do, carry on, make it difficult for Big Head Ted, make him work for it, and try and get this overtake. If he can keep it smooth, keep it consistent, then, Big Head Ted is going to have to not just be a few tenths faster, he's going to have to be a lot faster in order to force an overtake to get through.
Indeed, yeah, and employing currently another very dark magic tactic of use Wi-Fi, a very low-grade 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, or just slightly unplug your Ethernet cable and just limit your bandwidth a little bit. No, I am joking, of course, ladies and gentlemen. That is not a tactic. Sometimes the connection is just not absolutely perfect and won't be affecting the drivers too much. They will be relatively familiar with it. Here in the GT7 lobbies, behind them I can see Scotty Ray up into 6th position with Gareth Collier now up into 5th. That battle pack has sort of spread out a little bit with Ben Groves falling back somewhat. Looking further around the field, we've got Supra. That, of course, is Biswas sitting in P8. He's got a decent gap ahead of him to Ben Groves, but a bigger gap behind him to Clan Fever. These guys have actually been locked in a battle all race as well. Clan Fever managing to hold on to P9, started in P11, I believe. And, of course, Atom started in last place after not being able to complete a qualifying lap. What could have been for Tom England today? We saw his pace, of course, in qualifying was pretty decent, to be honest. In practice, it was very, very decent. Another scrape with the barrier there. You can see in the background the bongo drums with the cap vibing all going on, and a penalty to his name. Oh, dear me.
I apologize to whatever car we go next. I apologize to whatever car we go to next, because it seems like we bring in a curse. As soon as we jump to them, they make a mistake and cost them time. 1 second penalty for going off the track there for Tom England. He's got the right vibes in the garage there, but at the moment I think, sitting in that driver's seat, there's a little bit of frustration maybe creeping in. They're sitting in 10th and picking up a penalty along the way.
Certainly. Of course, you've got to remember that Tom England has been away. He's been raising a young family. He's been working as a mechanic, which he got qualified for a couple of years ago, and he's a man on a mission in his personal life at the moment, so he had to take a step away from international level GT7 competition. We know he's got the raw talent. I still can't beat him on track. He could be 10 years out of practice, and I could be practicing every day, and he has enough raw talent to beat me on track anytime. He's beat me on track in a GT7 ambulance as well. So any car, anytime, any place, he's a man on a mission. And look how he's caught up to Olaf Flash here. This is going to be a close one.
Absolutely right. I think it's a credit to the strength of the whole grid, right? That it makes it look like he's, down in 10th. It doesn't look that strong, but really it's because the competition is so strong. When you're a man that can pull off moves like this, and he gets this one stopped down the inside of the hairpin, late on the brakes, goes deep and just about manages to cut across and take the spot up into 9th. And unfortunately for him, though, I think that 1 second penalty is going to undo that, and he might end up losing 2 by the end of the straight.
Yeah, unfortunately the cars are pretty close. So Scar, of course, right behind them. Matthew Budd, we saw him a little bit further up beforehand. Whoa, Olaf decides, you know what? I'll trust the GT7 engine on this one. It'll ghost the car beautifully. I'll get a little wisp of slipstream, but they're back into a fight. It's still a 3-way battle. So this is absolutely epic from all the drivers here, and hats off to them. Even down at this point of the grid, the quality of the drivers we've got in this Division 1 category is absolutely brilliant, and I love watching every single one of them race. We are now on lap 14, so 3 to go in this race. Sideways for Scar. Matthew Budd looking all sorts of out of shape, and the 22 car of Tom England and me trying to attack again. He'll have another opportunity coming into 5 and 6.
That was a heck of a moment. I'm amazed. Again, they're sliding these cars and hanging onto it. Scar with that moment didn't lose the spot somehow. Again, he steps it out wide.
Whoa.
This might be the time where he loses it. Yes, he does. Tom had to react quickly, darts around. Oh my God, look at Scar still loose, even through the kink. He's really having fun in that thing, just throwing it through the corners.
Yeah, there we go. Comfort softs. Comfortable. Somewhat. Fun? Yes. Uncomfortable? Yes. Great for these cars? Probably. We'll tell you after the race. Either way, what a battle we've got going around the grid. Let's check in on the other battles, and looks like Gareth Collier picked up another penalty, but that'll bring him only just back in range with Scotty Ray going through 10 and 11 down at the back of Gilles Villeneuve course here at Montreal GP. Round 2, race 1 here at the GT New Zealand Championship, where the drivers are competing for a real-world drive provided by Toyota GAZOO Racing New Zealand, sponsored, of course, by NZ Esports and supported by the New Zealand Sim Racing Collective, NZ Sim Racing TV, Hectic Motorsports, TrackSpotTV, and Hooncorp E-Sports. And the second race, I'm very much looking forward to it with the GT3 cars. I know that these guys are quick in pretty much anything that they drive. They're going to be super quick in the GT3 cars. We've got the Lexus all ready for them to jump into in probably, well, we'll look at 10-15 minutes time. We'll get through our results, and we'll go on a short break between the two races as we get things reset. Penultimate lap of the race, and here we go. Dive cable looking a little bit unstable. He's served that penalties, brought Scotty Ray back into the fray. Ben Groves, unfortunately, now 2 seconds behind, so he's made a few too many mistakes in this one. Back up at the top, though. Here we go.
Big Head Ted has closed that gap, and again he's
gone into the
lag
wall.
issue, or has he just tapped the wall himself?
He's tapped the wall there. Yeah, he was going for the outside into the inside, into the braking zone, but he's completely overcooked that one.
Making a mistake there. He's going to have to settle down and try and find this opportunity. He's got away with it, though, I have to say. He hasn't lost too much time. Maybe a car length there, which he's able to recover. He's looking super strong at this point in the race. Good exit through there. He used so much curb. He sort of went over that sausage curve, but 2 wheels over the other side of it, so the sausage curve went right under the middle of the car, carried so much momentum through that particular chicane. Now Little's starting to have to go defensive, and that might be the first time we've seen Little have to go defensive into the hairpin. The crossback from Ted doesn't quite get the exit. The car slides on the exit as he tries to get the power down. Tucks back into the slipstream. Simon's lurking there as well and has a slow exit cost Ted. Simon's going to have the run down the straight. Is he going to move up into 3rd position? Is he going to maybe think about bump drafting and will try and go for 2nd? There's only 1 lap left to go at the end of this one, and it's going to be all on for 2nd place.
Wow, we have seen it before and we will see it again. 3rd place in a battle can sometimes be the best position to be in. Once those two go side by side or make contact, you're going to be in the box seat, and that was a bump draft indeed from Simon Bishop, and now he's lining up the inside line into turn 1. Final lap of the race. Matt McEwen still leads us out front by a huge margin, but here we go, the inside line sideways for Ted yet again. The outside line, he wants to cut back to Simon Bishop. He can't do it this time, and so Ted and Bishop costing them a chance at 2nd place, and it was Big Head Ted's ability to be on the throttle really easily and have the car sideways comfortably that was really pulling him closer to Alex Little. Now unfortunately he's fallen right off the back, and 2nd place looking too far away on the final lap of this race. Alex Little may be in for his best result of the GTNZC so far, but can Bishop get up onto the podium and eject Rhys Davidson? We'll find out in not too many corners time.
And they're both out sideways, pushing, trying to get it done on this final lap. Little's driven off into the distance as these two fight, and we get a great look at the livery on Simon Bishop, inspired by the prize that they are all fighting for. They want to get the drive in the real GR86 car. That's what this here livery is inspired by. Simon Bishop fighting for that, currently down in 4th. 4th is not really going to be a great result when you're trying to go for the win. It's 1st place that matters. Matthew McEwen has that just about sewn up, but could there be a late little move? The exit here will be the last chance as they head down into the final chicane, and it looks like Big Head Ted might have done enough to hang on ahead of Simon Bishop.
Oh, it's going to be very close at the end of this, but the 13-14 corner right at the end where we've got the Wall of Champions, it's not an overtaking zone at all. Speaking of which, no overtakes needed. Matt McEwen, he's done it again. 16 laps down, a 57.6 to finish it off. He's going even faster. There we go, across the line, and Matt McEwen wins race 1 here at the GTNZC for round 2. Alex Little gets close, but he's going to get P2. Doesn't lose it at the end. Big Ed Ted, Rhys Davidson, 3rd position, and Simon Bishop cannot do it. Oh, that's nearly very close between these two, but no, Gareth Collier, interestingly slowed down at the end, may have been trying to give the move back. I'm not sure what's happened there. Ben Groves in 7th place. We'll get the full results up in a few moments' time, but take a bow, Matt McEwen, huge gap, 13 seconds by the end of this race.
Wow. What a drive. And we didn't see much of him on screen, did we? Because he was just off in the distance in 1st position, extending that lead lap after lap. And that is the most dominant win we have seen so far this season.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. All right, well, break it down for us while we get our results all set up, because they will be coming in a few moments' time.
We asked the question whether McEwen could do it after that stunning pole position lap. He had half a second over the rest of the field, and he backed that up lap after lap for 16 laps in the race to win by 12 seconds. It just about maths out to be half a second a lap, doesn't it? It's close, but a mega drive from McEwen to lead the field. And the battle really was for 2nd, wasn't it? There was a few drivers involved, but it's Alex Little who stepped up through the middle phase of that race, got into 2nd, and didn't look back from there, using all of his experience to control the aggressive, the feisty, the slidey Big Head Ted in 3rd position. He put the pressure on. He wanted to get through, couldn't quite get it done, and had to hang on that last lap ahead of a charging Simon coming back after losing positions early. He started in 2nd, dropped a couple of positions early, had to fight back, had the pace. It really was close battle for that 2nd spot. But in the end, he crosses the line in 4th and loses a few points to his championship rival, McEwen.
I think that's going to be the big news here. So McEwen's going to extend his lead in this one. 5th place to Dive Cable with Scotty Ray. The beautiful battle between 5th, 6th, and 7th. Ben Groves picking up a penalty at the end of the race with Super in P8. Clan Fever able to pick up P9. Scar in P10. Atom lost a position at the end there, unfortunately, with Crimson at the back of the field. Yeah, we do note the latency involved. We will get some judgment from our admins at some point on that. We'll be going to a break in a few moments' time. Remember, what we've got coming up is absolutely epic. We've got the GT3 cars coming to you very, very soon. So keep that in mind. We're going to go to the right screen. Here we go. This is the right screen here. The Lexus RCF GT3 cars at Red Bull Ring. 28 laps in an open strategy. 4 times tire wear and 3 times fuel. We're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back with you in a few minutes' time. Hello and welcome back to the GT New Zealand Championship, sponsored by Toyota GAZOO Racing New Zealand Esports, and supported by New Zealand Sim Racing Collective, Hooncorp E-Sports, TrackSpotTV, NZ Sim Racing TV, and Hectic Motorsports. It is the 20th of July, round 2, race 2 coming up in a few moments' time, where we'll go for a 10-minute qualifying, which is just about to start. So here we are. The Lexus RCF's our fastest car of the series so far in the GT3 cars at Red Bull Ring. 28 laps ahead of us and an open strategy. This is going to potentially throw some cats amongst the pigeons, Matt.
It absolutely is. It's a real switch up, and this is the challenge of this series, is being able to jump between the different cars, different combinations that we throw at them. This one with the race strategy as well. That tire wear, fuel consumption, certainly going to play a role. You're going to need to make a pit stop unless you're going to save a lot of fuel and a lot of tires. We're expecting the drivers to be making at least one pit stop to come in, switch the tires, put that fuel on, before they can get to the end of the race. So it's another element you can use to your advantage to try and make overtakes. If you can't get it done out on track, maybe go for something different in the pit strategies, and undercut, overcut, use different tires, all of these different options to the drivers. That adds another layer to it, another dynamic that you have to overcome in order to become a national champion.
Indeed, and of course here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring, 4.3 kilometers, the same length as the Montreal GP course, but only 10 corners, and it's much more high speed. Certainly from the driver's perspectives, it'll feel a lot shorter because they'll be going upwards of 250 kilometers an hour in these cars. It is going to be a really interesting one. They're on the racing softs and out there at the moment. Before we get down onto track, of course, we've got another driver profile. It is the man himself, Simon Bishop, with a number of AKAs down there, one of which I had to remove. Psydog, Psygod, Sad Dog, Cyborg, and many, many more. And he's a multi-World Series attender for New Zealand. Matt, we know all about Simon.
Absolutely right. He was basically the original gold standard in New Zealand Gran Turismo racing. That's why he earned the nickname Psy God. He was untouchable out in front of the field in sort of the Gran Turismo 4, Gran Turismo 5, Gran Turismo 6 days. He was the top. Gran Turismo Sport, that's where he went to the World Series races, won with Toyota, and I believe he's got a livery today in this race inspired by that very win. So it'll be cool to see what he has on there, but certainly one to watch. He's got a race win this season already, going now to Red Bull Ring, where he said it wasn't his preferred track this week, but it might be the flip side. We talked about whether they were giving us the wrong info last week in the interviews. Maybe we'll see him do well at the Red Bull Ring. We certainly know he can pedal a Group 3 car.
That is for sure, yeah. The ability for these guys to do what they can do in these GT3 cars is absolutely immense. And bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye out today on the hectic race moment. What was your favorite moment from race 1? What's going to be your favorite moment from race 2? Send us your clips and we'll get that featured at the start of next stream. Let's go out on track. Qualifying is underway. Well, here we go. And that's that special livery. I've been chewed out about this so many times. I'll tell you what, I can't pronounce it correctly. Okay, let's just all accept that and let's not mention it ever again. But this is the special car decal set that is being run by Simon Bishop. Through the last corner he goes. It is a great one. He is a man who's so familiar with these amazing GT3 cars. Atom goes to the top. Dive Cable takes pole position by 1 second there. Simon Bishop puts in a 29.0. Look at all these times flooding in. Ben Groves goes to P2. And this is the incredible thing with GT7. There's so much technical skill involved in knowing which cars will do what things on track and with what circuit combinations. Now this is so much more standard. This is so much closer to what we'd see in the daily races, in league racing. People love to drive these GT3 cars. They're so much fun. We've got high downforce. We've got high grip with the racing soft tires. This is familiar territory.
It absolutely is, and I'd say probably the GT3s are the most popular category across sim racing. So to get into these cars, a lot of these drivers will be familiar, and we're at a very familiar circuit as well, Red Bull Ring. Plenty famous, and a common one that pops up in Gran Turismo to go racing at. So we're on board with Simon Bishop, getting a look at how he tackles this track. As McEwen, once again, last to go out on circuit, but sets the fastest time, and once again he's blown away the rest of the field. Look at that, 8th, 10th, down to second place. Simon there, improving through that sector, so we could see a few drivers improving, going faster, but McEwen set the benchmark early.
Wow. 0.3 up on his time is Simon Bishop through turn 9. Tricky area, don't run too wide, and then you want to be on the brakes ever so briefly to give yourself that turn and really oversteer the car into turn 10, throw it in and back on the power as soon as you possibly can. There's the timing line. It's good enough for P3, still half a second away from the top spot, but he's closed massively in on dive cable. Good lap there for Simon Bishop. Taking a look now at Gareth Collier, who's got a fantastic time as well, but nothing quite enough to catch up with Matt McEwen. Again, these liveries from Gareth Collier. I love flames, and there are flames.
Looks like it's ready to go quick, doesn't it? And we keep kind of coming on board with Gareth because we know what he's capable of. If he can put the race together, get the qualifying on board. Of course, he started the last race in 7th position, and that made it a really tough job for him to come through. He moved up a couple of spots, so I think if he can start at the pointy end in this one, could be up an opportunity. There's no death chicane to catch him out here at round number 2, so he'll be hoping that finally the stars can align and he can put one together.
Exactly. And with the open strategy in the race, this is going to be absolutely fascinating to see what the drivers do. I mean, very likely they'll be going for a soft tyre strategy, but bear in mind, the tyres will wear at 4 times their normal rate. So I'm not sure if these soft tyres are going to last all that long. 28 laps, they certainly will not last. So keep that very much in mind for the upcoming race. The strategy is going to be important, noting as well that slipstream with these cars is much more effective than we saw in the Toyotas in race 1. So strategy, slipstreaming, clever overtakes, managing your tyres, going to be a big one. And fuel will come into it as well, as we saw in race 2 in round 1.
Absolutely right. There's a lot to contend with in the race and a lot to think about. Maybe a little bit wide there. Managing the track limits also going to be a factor in the race number 2 tonight. There we go. Ben has done it right on cue, picked up the penalty, and much like race 1, that could be costly here at the Red Bull Ring. It's going to cost him 1 lap in the qualifying session. We're already 6.5 minutes through the 10-minute session, so we might still have time for a couple of laps, and this one is of course a shorter lap around here, so there is time to get going, and he does the kind thing, gets out of the way of the cars that are on the fast lap. Good to see Adam has managed to set a good time here in qualifying, 7th already, and he's maybe tucking into a little bit of slipstream on Gareth there. Of course, slipstream enabled here in qualifying, but tyre wear and fuel consumption are turned off, so that means they can just keep going, flying around the circuit for the full 10 minutes. It's not just a 1-lap dash like we tend to see in traditional motorsport. We are able to tweak the settings here and allow them to keep pushing, so right down to the end of the session, like we saw in the qualifying earlier tonight, you can still get that fastest lap right at the end of the 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that actually does call attention to how incredible Matt McEwen is, because he's often out there without using a slipstream as well. So the man has got pace upon pace. Nonetheless, good lap here from Atom. Will it be an improvement? He was down in sector 2. It is an improvement up to 4th position. Very, very good lap. And this is the car that Tom feels comfortable in, the GT3s. He understands them so well. So no surprise to see him really picking up his performance in this. Looks like Alex Little, I should say. I'd vote for Alex Little. I don't know too much about him, but I'd vote for him. He's picked up 6th position there with a 28.975, as we see Atom improve again in Sector 1. Big Ed Ted just behind him. We'll just note as well, we did see a bit of latency from Alex Little. That has been noted with the league admins. Of course, the latency will have an impact on the ability to drive around the car. So we have noted that with the league admins. So fear not, that is going to be looked at. And we've been told that there has been some improvement to his connection in this lobby. Down in P8, there's Scar in a beautiful blue Lexus.
And it's one of the great features of Gran Turismo and of sim racing as well, right, is that we can put on these different liveries, and all these drivers have got out there and put them together. You can see the series sponsors on the side of the cars as well. Beautiful to see it, and beautiful to be able to pick out your favorite driver based on the colors that we do see flashing across the screen, and all the great angles that Gran Turismo gives us as well of these cars. There's the red version from Supra running around in 11th at the moment, but improving on his time, and hopefully he will have enough time. There's only 1 minute left to go in this session, so they might get around one, and those drivers who are just starting their lap might be able to close out another one. But certainly getting towards the pointy end now. You want to get the, full risk, full commitment laps on the board at this point. If you've already got someone like Dive Cable, you've got your banker lap. Now's your chance to really send it. Take some risk. Try and find that little bit of extra speed you need to push ahead, because he'll know that the drivers behind him will be capable of improving by a couple of tenths as well. Oh, and there's the mistake. He took too much risk. It has not paid off on this lap for Dive Cable.
No, it certainly hasn't. Ben Groves coming through as well with his lap. Can he improve from 6? He's got Scotty Ray in the slipstream. Big Head Ted right behind them as well. I think that's Alex Little pretty close too. So Scotty Ray finds himself up in 5th position. So that last lap of his was absolutely brilliant. But look at the pressure he's putting on this other Hooncorp car here. Is that Atom? No, it's not. Is it Ben Groves? I'm not sure who he's doing that to, but that person is incredibly uncomfortable. Yes, it is Ben Groves, and maybe he'll be getting a little bit of a bump draft, so sometimes it can be advantageous, but at this stage, not so much. And shame, unfortunately, for Gareth Collier. He'll have to deal with where he's at right now. Will he be safe is the question. Simon Bishop coming through the S's now, through 7 and 8. Potential penalty area through that exit. You can see they take a lot of curb. Alex Little takes way too much curb. A little hard to tell sometimes with his connection. Ben Groves is in the pits. That's it. Looks like there's not going to be a lap from Simon Bishop either. He's not got enough on the Delta, and that's going to be it. He's going to come in across the line. Adam, can he improve? No, unfortunately he cannot. So that's the top 4 all looking set and done. McEwen has a penalty on his final lap. He doesn't need the improvement, fortunately, though. Across the line, Scotty Ray, no improvement there. Alex Little picks up a penalty as well, invalid lap. So they're all pushing to the absolute nth degree at the moment. Big Ed Ted, unfortunately, not able to find another time. P8 for him. And then Scar also with a penalty. So this is so smelling of turn 9. They all run wide, trying to carry the speed through turn 9 to the exit, and they're not able to do it. And look who's on top. It is Matt McEwen with a 128.189. Is he on a lap still? Yes, he is, but he served a penalty, so this won't be a good lap.
Man, just an incredible drive once again from McEwen, wasn't it? And I think that's the lap he did on his first lap. Yeah, confirmation on the right hand side. You can see lap 2. So after his out lap, did one flying lap, and that was good enough for pole. He's done another couple of laps that were also good enough for pole. So 3 laps there, faster than any other driver. McEwen has absolutely stepped up here in round number 2.
Wow, very impressive. We'll have our results up in a few moments' time, ladies and gentlemen. But ahead of us, 28 laps at the Red Bull Ring. 3 times fuel, 4 times tire wear. Going to play a massive, massive effect in this race. Results coming up on your screens right now. McEwen on top by just under half a second this time. But Gareth Collier puts in his best qualifying performance so far of the GTNZC. And Simon Bishop finds himself in 3rd position. Now, last time, I think Simon Bishop said he was a little bit gifted by Matt McEwen's mistake in the Yaris's at Death Chicane. Will it be the same here? Red Bull Ring can sting you very easily. Tom England in 4th position. He'll be alongside Simon Bishop, and that's his best qualifying as well of the season in 4th. Scotty Ray finds himself in 5th position with Ben Groves in 6th. Then it's Alex Little in P7 alongside Big Head Ted for the start of this race. Scar finds himself in 9th, Super in 10th, and then we've got Clan Fever and Crimson rounding out the grid, 6th row of the grid for this start. All right, Matt, what are we expecting from this race? It's going to be an intense one. Can Matt McEwen get through turn 1? Can anyone get through turn 1? Because that first lap at Red Bull Ring is hectic as anything.
It certainly will be, and in the big braking zone at what is effectively turn 2 down into the hairpin as well on lap 1 is going to be one to watch. I think if McEwen can get through there cleanly and get away, he might be able to pull away from the field again in this race. But keep an eye on Gareth Collier. It's going to be a question of how much confidence he can bring into this race. Starting in 2nd position, we know he deserves to be there, but he's had those mistakes in previous races. So will that play on his mind and maybe make him end up driving a little bit more conservatively as he tries to get through the 28 laps at the Red Bull Ring, and also tries to get through lap 1 when it's going to be action-packed. I think we see as well, Ted down in 8th is another driver I was going to call out, because we see him so good in those road tyres, but then come the race tyres, he ends up back in the mid-pack as we're ready to go racing.
Here we go, and Lewis Atkinson watching on from Brisbane. Great to have you in here. 5 lights are on. We'd wish you were on the grid as well, but good luck in the World Champs, and we're away racing. McEwen's got a decent start, but Gareth Collier, what a start he's gotten. He'll have the inside line into turn 1. Bishop is lined up right behind him. Tom England on the inside line as well as they head through turn 1, sideways there, and goes. That's Simon Bishop. He's gone. He's absolutely gone. He's put too much power down on the inside line and up over the hill. He's gone and disappeared. He's in the shadow realm. So it's going to be McEwen versus Collier, and to turn 3 for the first time. Got to take an inside line there for Matt McEwen to be defensive. Is he going to give enough space? He does. So Collier looks like he might be on to take the lead of this race early on. Is there a difference in tyres? There may well be. No, they're both on the medium tyres. Tom England right behind them with Scotty Ray up a couple of positions. Big at Ted, the big mover so far, up 3 positions in this race, barreling in to Slosh Gold now, and turn 4, and down the hill we go. Slight moment for Scotty Ray, but Matt McEwen has found his way back to the inside line of Gareth.
And they are fighting out in front, aren't they? Huge moment for Simon Bishop, spinning out of turn 1. And he is right at the back of this pack, 6 seconds off the back as well. So one of the top drivers taken out early, but Gareth is looking so strong. He's had a couple of opportunities to get side by side with McEwen, but that gap now through the midsection of middle sector. There we go, words are getting out of me. The middle sector, Gareth makes a couple of mistakes and loses a couple of car lengths to McEwen. Is that the buffer that McEwen needs now to get his head down as we cross the line at the end of lap 1? Can he continue to pull away, or has Gareth got something in him to try and close that gap back down again?
Oh, we're 1 lap in. It's all kicking off already. That might be penalty territory for Gareth Collier on the exit. If you put too many tyres across that apex, you're going to be in trouble. We're on board now with Tom England as they barrel down this straight towards turn 3. Great section of track this. We've got a tailwind down this section as well, which is even better for the speed. Oh, Gareth Collier, he missed that turn in qualifying. He's missed that turn on turn 2. Atom proceeds up into P2. Good overtake. Nice clean there between the two, and we've got side by side between Big Ed Ted and Scotty Ray in the background as they barrel down towards Slosh Gold for the 2nd time.
It's all go, isn't it? And Adam getting up into 2nd place, showing that he still has the pace in him. You know, he's been out of the seat for a while, as he talked about, raising a family now, working as a mechanic, but he jumps into the GT3s and he looks so comfortable in these cars, a little bit more pace in the seat, and he is right up there fighting amongst it. And is he the driver who has the pace to try and close in on McEwen as this mid-pack battle really gets going? Big Head's head right on the back of Scotty, and are they going to have to go defensive into the last section a little bit? Look how wide Big Head's head is, using the road. He knows what he can get away with, keeping 2 tyres on that curb, staying just about within track limits, but pushing it to the maximum.
Absolutely. Behind them, Ben Groves and Alex Little going for it. You've got Supra in there in P8. Close battle happening between P6 and P9 right now. We're currently on board with the battle for P4. Scotty Ray holding on still. Both get cleanly through turn 1. Seeing a lot of medium runners throughout the field. That's the sensible choice. Tyre's going to last the longest. Longest, and it'll be the fastest for longer. Let's put it that way. Here we go. Opportunity for Big Ed Ted as he sets the sector 1 fastest sector time, I should say. We're all starting to lose our words because there is so much going on. Scotty Ray goes defensive, holds the position. Will there be bump drafting? I think Big Ed Ted would be sensible to start thinking about those behind him as well, but he's not going to. He's going to send that Lexus around the outside into turn 4. Downhill braking zone, very tricky on the traction. Not too much room there between him and Scotty, and he's run wide. There's contact.
A little bit of a moment on the exit. It looked like it was going to be a great move round the outside, but he just went a bit too deep, too aggressive, trying to get it done. He knew he had to be aggressive to get the move done. A little bit too much so, though. And great driving from Scotty to be aware of it, come back down the inside, take the position back, and hold on to 4th position for the time being. As they're getting close in front of them as well. There's a lot of battles out on track, and it seems like all these drivers looking to create some hectic moments that they can submit during the week.
You know, they don't really want the real world drive, Matt. What they want is the hectic moment of each round. You know, that's the real prize at the end of the day. So the order is this: 2.5 seconds out to Matt McEwen at the front of the grid. He's on the medium tires from what we can tell. Tom England now under a lot of pressure from Gareth Collier. Again, two drivers, they're both on the medium tires as well, driving as quickly as they can as we head on to the 4th lap of this race. Speaking of 4th, Scotty Ray still holding on to the position with Big Head Ted behind, and there's going to be a move. Gareth Collier has got the run, he's got the slipstream, and into turn 3, it's going to be a great move, an easy move actually down the inside, but Tom playing it smart. He knew it was coming. He's going to take the switch back and try and get the power down early for an overtake into 4.
And if we're talking about strategy chat this early on, as the laps come flying thick and fast, already on lap 4, strategy chat, all the drivers have opted to start the race on the mediums. So we are expecting them to come to the pit stop, and there is maybe a little bit of a question mark. Who's going to try and conserve those tires to go longer and think about softs for the second stint? Or another strategy option that we're expecting we might see is just go more aggressive and take an even pit stop around the middle of the race and go back onto the medium tires.
Whoa, so that is a push. That is a push by Big Ed Ted. He was right on the back of Ben Groves and didn't want to take his foot off the accelerator at all, and literally pushed him through the corner onto the gravel. So Ben Groves found himself out on the gravel. Not ideal for the tire life at all. Into 9, back into single file for this part of the track. And we've got Alex Little there still having a few connection issues, unfortunately, in this race. Oh, they fly through this section so quickly. 170 plus kilometers an hour. And that's too wide for Ben Groves. It's cost him hugely.
And while they're still so close at this early phase of the race, any little penalty will cost you track position to these drivers around you. I mean, you're this close. Look at that. They might get 2 drivers coming past him when he does eventually get to that penalty line and have to serve the penalty, because well, you couldn't be much closer. I mean, look at Big Head Ted. He's possibly going to go past before we even get to the penalty line.
Or round the outside is the defensive option for Ben Groves. Does manage to achieve it nicely, but keep an eye for Alex Little. He's right in there. Clam Fever wants to go as well. The penalty serving line down between turn 8 and turn 9 after the S's, so still some time to go before Ben has to serve that. And oh, that is Clam Fever on the outside of Andrew Little. Little bit of contact between the two of them, and that's going to cost Clam Fever. Actually, it's going to bring Super, I believe, into the back of that. There's a battle as well for P12, 11, and 10 going on in the background. So it's really all happening all over the field. Big Ed Ted not so great through turn 4, 5, and 6. I tell you what, he is going to be waiting, I think, and just lurking. Wait for that penalty to be served by Sly Ben the Cat. It's only a half-second penalty, but you're off the throttle for a second here, and it may cost you, although I think it'll be side by side. Whoa, it's going to be close, and side by side through 9. Be careful, lads.
Defensive on the inside from Ben. Can he just about hang on? No, he can't, but there's wide from Big Ed Ted, and that might cost him. Is that going to be? It is a penalty. So just as he manages to get through, he gets one himself, and this battle pack is going to continue on for another couple of laps here, because Big Ed Ted is going to have to serve that penalty next time around, and there continues to be nothing between them. There's a spin. Little's gone round.
Little's gone round. Turn 1 claims another victim. It was Simon Bishop first. Now it's Alex Little, and I think Simon Bishop is actually climbing through the field, but we may be able to get a replay of that, whether there was contact or not. But it's so easy to spin up the tires and get yourself loose as you come over the crest of turn 1, and you find yourself suddenly losing that rear end traction, and around you go. Nothing you can do about it. But Big Head Ted, he hasn't built enough of a gap to avoid what's coming to him in a few quarters time. So this mid-pack battle for 5th position has been absolutely spectacular. Scotty Ray still up in 4th position. Is he closing in on Atom? He is, and Gareth has started to extend the gap as well. And oh boy, this makes me very excited to see what's going to happen once these guys start getting onto alternative strategies.
Goodness me, who even needs a strategy race, really? When we're on all on the same tires and we're producing this much of a show, it's all go, isn't it? We've been non-stop since the start of the race. An update as well on Simon Bishop. He was 6 seconds off the back of the pack after that spin. He's now managed to close in and get a couple of overtakes along the way. Of course, he picked up a spot when Little just spun there as well. So Simon up into 9th place already, and a recovery drive that will see him pick up some points, some decent points at this rate if he continues on.
He's actually on board with Clam Fever now as we head past the start-finish line into the braking zone. hit the brakes hard at the 100-meter board, get it turned in, avoid that yellow inside curb, avoid the yellow curb on the outside exit, and be very careful with how you apply the throttle. This is not the place to be abusing your throttle pedal. Most of these drivers, of course, will be running with TC0. That is TC essentially off, Big Head Ted ahead. We're getting a prime view of this one, as is Clam Fever, as Ben Groves and Reese Davidson go side by side again. Big Head Ted, Reese Davidson has come out on top for that one. And here we go, we've got a view of Olaf Flesch as well. Great to see him out here. He's got his advertising up. Smart move, smart man. That's another reason to have a driver cam.
Absolutely right. Pandemonium on the side there for Zandau Games. He's actually racing, representing Zandau Games as his team here in this competition. And it's really cool that we've got Pandemonium and Olaf coming in to support the series. They're actually, that Pandemonium is a card game that Zandau has developed, and it's just recently been produced, and they're offering up as a bit of a giveaway, one copy of that card game as a random draw to a driver who completes every single race this season across any of the divisions. So a little bit of a motivation to keep coming back, keep getting involved in this series, and it's cool that they're able to jump in and offer that as well.
Exactly right, and this is yeah, the only place you can come to race against an all New Zealand field, and the best that our country has to offer on this platform. Ahead, all these guys are going for it. Wow, absolutely excellent. They nearly come together again. Big Ed Ted survives yet again. Will Ben Groves be able to get him down into turn 3? We shall see, and we will get some more driver cams up a little bit later on as we refocus ourselves on the rest of the field. Big Head Ted going defensive. Ben Groves, wow, gets all out of shape, not expecting Big Head Ted to be that slow at that point of the corner, and then finds himself managing to recover beautifully though. Race update from the top of the field. I'm not sure anyone would have guessed this one, but Matt McEwen is still in the lead of this race, and with the fastest lap as well. Take a look at how well this man drives. It is as simple as that. If we have a driver cam, we can bring it up now. I think he deserves a little bit of camera time, does Matt McEwen. He'll certainly be getting some interview time today, assuming everything continues to go the way it is for the next 20 laps or so.
Yeah, and just to call out McEwen a little bit, he did have the driver cam pre-race, and we've lost it now during the races, so we won't be able to get a look at McEwen, but he won't be thinking about the driver cam. That's why he wouldn't have done it between races. He's focused. He's so locked in. Look at the times he's producing. 5 seconds clear the rest of the field. He is absolutely dominating and putting on a real clinic in tonight's races.
Exactly. His nearest competitor, Simon Bishop, who had that unfortunate spin at turn 1, has found himself now dropping to P9 as Mr. Bissois comes on through and makes an overtake. And it's wide again for Simon Bishop. I wonder if he's got a little bit of PTSD there in turn 1. Just doesn't want to overcook the throttle now. But I think as he hasn't adjusted his strategy, he's still on the medium tires. No one's come in for a pit stop just yet. And I think we're hovering around 50% fuel for most of the drivers at this point.
Yeah, it is looking that way. And Simon as well. He did catch up to Supra just the lap before, but he did also pick up a half-second penalty. So all these drivers pushing a lot of penalties already, as we're only 9 laps into this race. And that one has cost him. So he's going to have to make the overtake a second time now as he closes in on the back of P8.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing at the end of the day. These drivers, in some ways, you watch the broadcast, you go, I could do that. I could absolutely do that. But you saw the driver camera there, and you've seen the onboards. These guys operate at such high precision. These are difficult tracks we've got for round 2. I'm going to be honest. I mean, the Toyotas on comfort softs, not easy to handle at all. You're constantly on the edge of grip for 16 laps as well. So it's not easy at all. And it's unfortunately one of those tracks where penalties are literally everywhere. It's the Oprah Winfrey giving out penalties to absolutely everyone. You can have a penalty. You can have a penalty. You were 1 pixel across that apex. You can have a penalty. I don't even know who you are. You can have a penalty as well. And Red Bull Ring kind of seems like that as well. It was like that. I think it was about 2 years ago in Formula 1 when the FIA were just hovering over the penalty button. Just anyone who came through turn 9, he got a penalty.
As you were saying, penalty. Big Head Ted picked up a penalty, and Ben Groves picked up a penalty as well. So they really are being thrown around left, right, and centre.
You get a penalty. Wow. Ah, yes. Well, I'm not going to claim the commentator's curse on that. You can blame whoever you want. Blame the FIA. Blame Oprah Winfrey for giving us one of the greatest memes of all time. Oh, Ben Groves. That's the second time we've seen him nearly going to the back of Big Head Ted. He's really, really hot on the brakes going into these corners. I don't know if that's the way he wanted to drive or if Big Head Ted's maybe not quite as good into the braking zones. But boy, oh boy, that was a close one into 4.
Yeah, different driving styles perhaps coming together a little bit there, and you have to be wary of that because as the driver behind, it's your responsibility not to be causing contact in the braking zone like that. Oh, both the drivers just get on the brakes a little bit there, both serve their penalty, so track position doesn't change, but they do lose a bit of time to the drivers in front. And I think what we're seeing at this point in the race is quite a lot of quite a lot of tire wear playing a role as Big Head Ted's out wide and loose again. And Scar in the background down in 9th has done the same thing on that corner. So I think we're really starting to see them struggle for the grip and trying to get these cars through the exits, get the power down, try and keep the speed, but they're gonna have to adjust now, slow things down a little bit as their tyre wear is really cranking in on these medium tyres.
Yeah, the tyres are starting to bleed grip massively. I think most of the drivers are at sort of 60, 65. Ben Groves going for the late braking maneuver down the inside line. Good move. Big Head Ted does see it coming, and he's got the run on him. Going for the bump draft, though, in this case. I thought he had plenty of room there to jump to the outside line. He wants to hug the inside, maybe get a late braking maneuver of his own, but it's a great move by Ben Groves there and put his car in the right position. Gone deep into 4. Opportunity for Big Head Ted. Just out onto the gravel. That's going to cost Ben Groves some time, and through goes Big Head Ted again. These guys can't decide if they want to be in 5th or 6th position right now.
Oh man, this is back and forth, isn't it? As soon as you get through, just a little mistake, back again. And now, closing in behind them, it's none other than Simon Bishop. After having that moment early on, now looking at, he has potential for top 5 already. Lap 11, closing in on halfway through this race. He's halfway back through the field. Oh no! Contact, Big Head Ted in the rear quarter of Ben. Off the road, and I think Ted just back out of it to let him back in front. Don't like to see that. And a penalty for going off the road. Oh, that is rough. That is unfortunate.
That is painful. I mean, what happened there? Big Head Ted had the run on him through turn 8, just through the S's, and then caught up just into the braking zone of 9, realized that he was probably not going to get a clean overtake as turn 9 is a really, really sharp, shallow entry into the apex. He tried to pull back in, didn't he? And touched the rear part of Ben Groves' car and kind of just unsettled Ben Groves. And yes, he did the right thing. He redressed and he made sure that Ben was still ahead. So an obvious apology there from Big Head Ted. He's a clean driver. But I hate to say this, but it's blood in the water, and guess who's right there?
Continuing to hunt them down and close in is Simon Bishop, right on the tail now. And when this penalty gets served, he's going to be all amongst it. But it was interesting that kind of role reversal that caused that penalty there, because Ben Groves was the one that we were talking about being good on the brakes, almost collecting the back of Ted when it was the other way around. And then when they swap positions, Ben Groves maybe braking earlier than Ted was expecting. So that's a curious one. The lead driver maybe being a bit more careful than the driver behind, who's just following them in and sending it deeper in the brakes. But yeah, that was quite an odd one.
Oh, here we go. That's an interesting line there for Ben Groves. Is he coming into the pits? No, it's because of the penalty. My apologies. He served the penalty, got to the inside line. That's what you're supposed to do in league racing if you are serving a penalty on Gran Turismo 7. Although the game will ghost you, so make sure that the cars can drive through you to avoid any potential collisions and big accidents that have happened. Do recall a time when that few races I've been in when that wasn't the case. Oh boy, was that fun. So I'm glad we've got the ghosting setting on when you're serving a penalty. If there's a big enough difference between the deltas of the speed of the cars, then there will be a ghosting in effect. Right, here we go again. Is it going to be inside move? Yep, saw that one coming. Ben sends it down the inside line, gets it slowed down beautifully. Ben is beautiful on the brakes. Really, really good, but Ted sees it coming this time and is able to get the switchback done correctly.
Beautiful stuff to be aware of what's happening there and just take your line, take the opportunity to come back. Is now trying to use that late braking technique. Down the inside comes Ben. Simon lurking in the background. looking left, looking right. Which way does he want to go? Is they going to go side by side now, continuing through the lap? For the inside is Big Head Ted. On the outside, he might get shuffled down. Ben Grove's going to lose 2 spots in the space of the corner as Simon sneaks up the inside and gets past as well.
That is fantastic driving by Simon Bishop, exactly what we've come to expect of him when he's on track and he's using his racecraft. It is incredible, but Big Head Ted there had his crystal ball out. He had his third eye open. Well, he's been talking to the spirits or something, but he noticed that Ben was going in deep under the brakes again and actually moved out the way, allowing Ben Groves to make the quick decision to go down the inside line. Whoa, here we go. Simon Bishop, what a run through 10. And now into turn 1, Ben Groves has got the advantage on the inside line on Big Head Ted, but Simon Bishop is through. What a move. Oh, and Ted is gone. He's picked it up somehow. How has he done that? He was sideways for a moment there, and he's picked it up. Well, we talked about how his race control and oversteer and rallycross style driving was not going to be as effective. Well, it saved him right there.
Didn't it just? And again, a moment at that turn 1. We've seen that's the 3rd driver now to have a big sideways incident. He managed to save it, thankfully, and I think it was a little bit of contact of Ben as well that sort of straightened him back up a touch and helped him get going. But that turn 1 is proving difficult, isn't it? When you get out wide on that big sausage curb on the exit, unsettles the car as you're trying to get the power down. And shoot, that has just taken the sting right out of that battle.
It certainly has. That came to a boil very quickly and evaporated into, well, what we've got right now. But that certainly was exciting racing between these guys. So good to see. We are coming up on half race distance. Matt McEwen crosses the line. He's now 9 seconds ahead of Gareth Collier, who's in 2nd position. Half race distance gone, half of your tires gone, and you only got about 20 to 25% of your fuel remaining as well. Gareth Collier currently in 2nd position, doing really consistent lap times, as is Atom behind him. So Tom England finding his form here in race 2 on the 15th lap in 3rd position, and then behind them Scotty Ray picking up a small penalty, but also plenty consistent. I think he might know he's on camera, just trying to warm those tires up, but they'll be plenty warm by this point. So Simon Bishop 6.7 seconds behind these guys. It is all to play for. We've got pit stops coming up.
Yeah, I was asking the question if anyone was going to do an equal strategy and come in at the halfway point. We've just crossed the halfway point now. No one opting to come in. Oh, no, sorry, we have one driver in the pits, do we? That has decided to come in. Clan Fever has made his stop refueling at the moment, so likely come back out on mediums again, just split the race evenly. And I suspect the rest of the field are trying to go longer on those medium tires so they can have a quicker but shorter stint on the softs right at the end of the race.
Exactly. So if we can make it 15 laps on the medium tires, which we definitely can. I mean, they're getting to the end of their life at the moment. I'd argue you could probably get to lap 17 or 18 with reasonable comfort. And then you could, so if they can get to 18 laps on the mediums, usually the delta between the tires is somewhere between 4 to 8 laps. Softs will burn off very quickly under 4 times tire wear here in this race. So I wouldn't want to be doing more than 8 laps if I was them out on track, Matthew.
Yeah, if we do the maths though, 18 laps on the mediums we're thinking, and then we're thinking on the fuel as well, as McEwen ticks down to a quarter fuel left in the tank. Yeah, that would be looking at a 10-lap stint on softs, wouldn't it? So it's a bit of a balancing act here of what tire you want to be on when it's worn out. I think there's going to be a few laps where you end up on a rather second-hand tire trying to get around the field and just manage it for a while before you can make the switch, or whether you take that pain right at the end of the race.
Well, and I've got to remember now back to round 1, race 2, which was not that long ago, so I should be able to. But I do recall Simon saying he took just a little bit too much fuel, and that maybe was what cost him at the end when we had McEwen and him end up on alternating strategies. Although McEwen denied it, I don't know if there's a bit of playing around going on between these two guys. But Simon was relatively convinced that taking too much fuel cost him that race. I mean, the difference at the end was absolutely nothing. It was less than a second. So maybe that's going to be having an impact today in race 2 once again with the open strategy.
Absolutely right. When the margins are so close, then sitting in pit lane for an extra second, that's so hard to earn out on the track. If you're 1/10 faster than the driver in front of, well, if you're 1/10 faster than another driver, it's going to take 10 laps to make up a second. So that really will play a role in how much you end up conserving during the race to try and save fuel to come into the pits. I'm noticing there is a little bit of a difference between the drivers in terms of how much they have saved fuel. McEwen seems to just be burning it out in front, going as fast as he can, but with a 10-second gap, he can afford to do that. Dive Cable saved a little bit. Adam in behind Dive Cable, who's closed in a little bit, has actually saved more fuel than Gareth has. So they might get even closer when they do make their pit stop. And through the field, I think actually Scotty Ray has done quite well as well on the fuel. So that could change, that could, you know, the gaps could change a second or two when they do make these pit stops.
Yep, indeed. And between the short shifting, the lifting and coasting, and unlikely though possible a fuel map setting, these drivers are able to save fuel in a number of different ways. Saving tires is a much more difficult thing to be doing. I believe everyone in the field are on wheels, so there is a well-known fact in Gran Turismo 7 that we do have a significant difference between the ability of the controller players who play on the PlayStation 5 controller. Here's a move here by Crimson, getting overtaken by Alex Little. He's up on screen right now, so we'll keep an eye on this as we talk a little bit more about this. But you can see the wheels set up there, so the PlayStation 5 controller definitely suboptimal, very difficult to maintain your tire life. And I believe Matt McEwen actually he's done the investigation. He knows exactly why. I think it's something to do with the way that the joystick maxes out and the game has to take over because you don't have that 900 degrees of wheel turning like Crimson does on his setup.
Yeah, so it tries to map it for you a little bit and smooth out the steering on the controller so that it's still very playable, which is awesome. So you can get into Gran Turismo on the controller, and a lot of the drivers do. You start out just playing games, having a bit of fun, and then as a controller player, you start getting reasonably good, and then you start thinking about, oh, hang on a second, I could be competitive here. I could give this a go. And so a lot of these drivers do get quite quick on a controller and then make that transition over to a steering wheel as they try to be competitive and as they try to push on forward and up the ranks and get involved in series like this and the national championship. And as you say, I think all the drivers at this level now are racing on those steering wheels. And I was just having a laugh a couple of laps ago, and I bring up Crimson's camera here because he was taking it pretty casual down some of those straights, reaching over to grab a drink, just having a bit of a stretch. Look at him there, just one hand off the steering wheel. So he's just having a bit of a cruisy race out there, even though he's pedaling this thing quite fast, and he's in a battle at the moment with Alex Little.
That's fantastic. Well, Ben McDonald, of course, we know him well. He's been involved in GT7 racing for a while. He was part of the NZERS, the previous envisagement of this series, as we see McEwen now coming for the pits. And he did actually qualify 11th in the qualifiers pre-season. Did actually qualify 11th, so wasn't going to be, not 11th, sorry, 15th, I believe. So he wasn't going to be part of Division 1 initially until we had a late pullout by Ryan Goldsworthy, a green goldfish. So that's what's elevated Ben McDonald up, and of course he would absolutely have been deserving in Division 1 as well. There's the pit entry by Crimson, so he's decided it's time to come in as well. It's a very, very tricky way to get into the pits, and he's going to take a break. Oh, he's going to step away. He's stepping away from the controllers, ladies and gentlemen. We love it. We love you, Ben McDonald. Absolutely brilliant stuff, mate. And the pink car, you got to shout out to him. We've got some pit stops, Matt. Break it down for us.
Yep, they've come into the pit stops, and I was keeping an eye on the fuel there because it gives us the numbers when they do make that stop. McEwen was just burning everything down to 2 litres, so he needed to make that stop. A couple of the drivers that did save a bit more fuel, so Adam had 11 litres back in the tank. Adam had 10 litres. Scotty had 11 litres. He was the one who saved the most up to this point. So that's a difference of 9 litres to McEwen. We refuel rate is 11 litres per second, so a bit over a second that Scotty has managed to save in that pit stop. Adam as well has done that, but I think his rival Dive Cable was somewhere in the middle, so he hasn't gained quite a second on Dive Cable, but just closing that gap down ever so slightly will help him as they head into the second phase of this race. And I think all the drivers now opting to go on those soft tires, and it will be a sprint to the end. We'll see those lap times come right down now as they've got that extra grip to utilize to the end of this race now.
Oh boy, it's going to be fun. We've got just under 10 laps or so to go. Looks like Alex Little, sorry, Sorry, apologies once again. Alex Little, I don't believe he has come into the pits just yet. No, he's doing that right now. So he's probably the only one slightly out of position there for the moment. That'll elevate everyone back into the pits. But he's managed to make it 19 laps. So gets closer to that 10-lap prediction that I made. So thank you very, very much, Alex Little, for making me sound more like I know what I'm talking about. But the 11 laps essentially, well, it is about 10 laps, isn't it? It's actually less than that now for him. So 9 laps for Alex Little once he comes out of the pit, but he'll be back towards the back of the field. Big Ed Ted in 7th, and then Supra in 8th will be coming out around him or thereabouts. So expect some fastest laps to be set shortly, folks. We've got 9 laps to go. We're on the 20th lap of round 2, race 2 here at the GTNZC. Of course, the big prize they're all chasing here in this competition is the real-world drive in the Toyota 86 at Hampton Downs, courtesy of Toyota GAZOO Racing New Zealand. More spot prizes in amongst it as well, with the hectic race moment, and of course the pandemonium game as well, which is going to be very exciting. So a big thanks to all those involved, and here we go for the last 9 laps of this race for tonight's entertainment. Of course, remember, we will be back on the 27th of July for round 3. 6 rounds total, all in consecutive weeks, same place, same time here on Monday evenings at New Zealand Sim Racing TV. This battle, Matt, is one I am super keen to see. Gareth has been super, super quick. We know how quick he is. 1.1 seconds the gap between him and Tom England, who is resurgent today.
Both of these drivers are absolutely desperate for a result at this point. It hasn't gone their way up to this point in the season, and now they are looking at a chance for a mega result. Fighting for second on track, second and third podium positions on offer, but they both want that second spot. Third isn't something to be settled for. This is the National Championship. This is where the biggest bragging rights are on the line. If you can get that overtake done on track, it's going to mean so much more than just a standard daily race. The gap just starting to hover around 1.1, 1.3 seconds, so they won't quite be in slipstream range. This is really sort of a time attack battle to try and close this gap if you're Adam, or to try and hold on to it, try to extend it from Gareth's perspective.
Yeah, and I think there is another element of this. You know, it's not just a flat sprint to the end. There is tire degradation happening. So how you manage your tires, when do you push? At this point, if I'm Tom, I'm thinking push now, get into that slipstream. It's going to save you time at the end of the day. A lot of these drivers have put a fair amount of fuel in the car as well. I'm not sure if it's too much,
I'm just looking at that.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at that as well, George, because I was talking about how Adams saved more fuel than Dive Cable, but Adams put in more fuel than Dive Cable did in the pit stop. So I wonder if maybe he is just being more conservative with it, or is he letting himself have enough fuel to just keep pushing throughout this entire final stint? Will Dive Cable maybe just need to save a touch in the later stages?
Yeah,
as the
under a
gap
second
just
now.
Comes down by a couple of tenths.
Oh.
Adams on a charge.
I think this is the right move, though, isn't it? Like, push now, get into that slipstream. You'll have a chance by the time you get to the end of the race. You'll use more tires, you'll use more fuel in the attempt, but that slipstream is going to reduce your overall effort in this race. So for Gareth Collier, I mean, at this point, he's probably thinking, well, it's inevitably going to happen now. He's within the second. The slipstream will start to take an effect. And if Tom is as consistent a driver as he ever is, which he's a very consistent driver, then you're probably looking at an inevitable situation that you're going to be in a battle. So save tires now so that you've got the grip at the end of the race and you'll get that advantage back when it comes to defending.
Yeah, I mean, Tom's got to go for it, doesn't it? Like, he's got a sniff now. He's got an opportunity. It comes down to 0.8 of a second. So he's just chipping away a tenth here and there, trying to go for it and close in. And like you say, if he can get into that slipstream, that'll make his life that much easier to pull up to the back of Dive Cable. Look at them setting personal best sectors as they do battle out on track in these Lexus GT3 cars. And it's going to come down to the wire. 6 laps to go as they cross the line this time around.
Oh, this is fantastic. And the thing is with Gareth's position right now is like, it's hold your nerve. Because if you get spooked by that delta coming down, and it's coming down rapidly, that's another 0.2 this lap. It's a 1:29.6 and a 1:29.3 for Tom. So 0.3 of a second gap at the moment. Once you see that time starting to tick down, you got to hold your nerve. Do you stick to your strategy and try and conserve some tire life, or do you just put your foot down and go for it. I think given how quickly Tom has reeled in Gareth Collier for second position, I think Gareth has just got to go for it. Don't listen to me anymore. Go for it, guys, because Tom's going to get you otherwise. Personal sector best. In fact, no, it's the overall sector 1 best there for Tom.
Wow, he's on a mission, isn't he? He just nailed it. Perfect turn 1 there. Purple through the first corner. Can he continue it on in this lap? Because he's well and truly in that slipstream now. He's got a nice run down the straight. It's just keeping it tidy. Adjust your corner speed for the dirty air. Continue to reel in. And this battle is on. He will be motivated to push forward, to try and get the result that we know he's capable of. Wind back the years and fight at the front of the New Zealand Championship. Here comes Adam as it continues. Oh, it extends a little bit through that sector. So there's that dirty air maybe playing a role through the middle sector of the lap.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to be careful of those curbs. He's been avoiding it beautifully at turn 4. His turn-in is just absolutely spot on. Just missing that inside curb, which gives him that extra little bit of grip. And you can see the bongo drum, camp vibes in the background starting to take effect as we head now back into the slipstream once again on the 24th lap of this race. 0.6 is the gap. We're looking around the rest of the field at some point. I believe there's a few close battles out there, and especially towards the back of the pack, but P4, 5, and 6 looking rather, and 7 actually, looking rather spread out at this stage. And it's Alex Little versus Clan Fever versus Crimson for the back of the field. That's the big pack that we're seeing. Another personal best for Tom England. He's on your cameras right now in the Hooncorp Esports livery, or as I like to say, the livery, and 0.5 now is the gap. So this is going to be a real battle towards the end. Plenty of tire life left in those softs as it stands. I think actually, now that I look at the fuel stats, Matt, I think Atom might have the exact right amount of fuel in.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because they were saving fuel through the first stint, and I think both of these drivers would have been doing it. So I wonder if Dive Cable's done his calculations based on the fact that he was saving fuel, which means he now needs to continue that same rate of saving. Adam just topped up a little bit more, means that he can afford to push, he can afford to rev the engine out a little bit higher, carry that, give him that extra speed down the straights and on the corner exits, and maybe that's just what's helping him close back in. He seems to have the advantage in this second stint to close in now, 0.3 of a second, and now the gap becomes irrelevant because look, it's all on between them. There's nothing between them now. It is a direct fight, a battle on track. Can Adam find a way to make an overtake? We know he's got the extra pace, but it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass.
There's, yes, the old famous words that we know well. That's a wide exit there for Gareth Collier. That's cost him a little bit of time and speed on the straight. Big slipstream effect now for Tom's Lexus. This could be the opportunity, but does he want to take the big risk? Does he want to make the overtake? Gareth just feigning to the defensive move there. Tom opting for the outside line because it'll give him power off the corner. And that's critical as we have to have run down to turn 4. We've seen this with Big Ted and Ben Groves all the way through the race with the late braking maneuvers, sending it down the inside line. Gap has sort of hovered around 0.25, now coming down quickly. Has to actually get out of that one. So this is smart from Tom, I think. Bide his time. He knows he's got the pace advantage. Wait for the easy overtake.
He's looking for the right opportunity, isn't it? He's not just going to jump at the first opportunity. He's looking for the one where he's going to be able to get past and seal the deal. We've seen it a few times tonight. Oh, but is that a little bit wide there from Tom? He was over the curb, so I wonder where the limit is. It does take a couple of seconds for the penalty to kick in, and he does get it. He gets a penalty there for going too wide over the track limits, and it's going to be served on the next time around, costing him half a second. That could be critical in the fight here for second place.
I think at this point, Tom's got to not worry about the safe overtake, take the risky overtake and make it work, slow Gareth down and maybe get some sort of advantage over the next few corners. Otherwise, that penalty is going to have a real impact. We know he's got the pace advantage, and it only took him 3 or 4 laps to get right back up to Gareth Collier after there was about 0.9 or a 1 second gap. So at this stage, you know, go for it. I would see why not. The 0.5 second penalty is painful, but it's not the worst that you can get.
I think he might have to make this overtake twice. I think you're absolutely right. He needs to get in front, then serve the penalty, and then he'll end up losing the spot, but he won't lose too much time. But if he's in behind, this extra half a second, there's not really enough laps for him to try and catch back up. So it's only a few laps left to go, 2 laps when they get to the end of this one. and he's going to have to serve his penalty on this lap. It's a tough ask from this point. He's made it a difficult challenge, but it's still possible. There's a chance. Adam needs to keep pushing as these tires now are really starting to scream. The soft tires are worn at this point. They're well past their best, and their lap times are beginning to come back down. But who can hang on to it the best? Has Dive Cable been doing a good enough job to look after those tires, to give him something to fight with on these final 2 laps? As here it is, the penalty line. Adam takes his penalty and drops back. Look at the time he loses. Those car lengths open up. And that is the gap he needs to close down with just 2 laps left to go to try and claim second place here at Red Bull Ring.
Regardless, both Gareth Collier and Tom England, this will be their best result in the GTNZC so far. They've both come into their own in this GT3 race, and with Simon Bishop spinning on lap 1, turn 1, just there in fact, it was an opportunity given to both of them. Now we've seen Tom take down the gap between them by 0.3 in a lap. He's already taken a couple of tenths out of that already. Tom England, last chances. This is going to be it, but like I said, it's the best result that either of these drivers have had so far in this championship. There are other battles happening around the track, but we're not focusing on those right now. The top 3 positions, well, top 2 positions, P2, P3, up in contention now, 0.8 the gap. Good run for Gareth Collier out of turn 3. Not the cleanest from Tom, but Tom has been super strong in this sector here. Much tighter line through 4. Gap starts to come down again.
It's been a mega drive. We haven't talked about it much, but McEwen out in front continues to extend 13 seconds. These two battling it out for this second stint. The gap opened up a little bit in that first stint, didn't it? Where Adam was just biding his time in third place. As soon as they switched to the soft tires, it's just given Tom that edge to close in, pull in. It's now just under 0.7, so he's continuing to close in, but he is running out of time. Scotty Ray in 4th position has had a reasonably quiet race sitting there, but a mega drive to be holding down 4th in this pack. Simon Bishop, you talked about that spin right at the start. What a recovery though. He's up into 5th spot after being down in last and being 6 seconds behind the next car. So he's had a great drive. Driving angry seems to work for that man. And he's gotten past Ben Groves and Big Head's Head, who are having that big battle in 6th and 7th. As we head on to now the final lap of the race.
Yeah, the final lap has arrived. 28 out of 28 on your screens there, next to our round 2 Red Bull Ring banner. 0.5 is the gap. I'm not sure if Tom's going to even want to make a move here. I was looking at the fuel numbers, and actually I'm not sure, wasn't sure for a second if Gareth actually had enough fuel to make it to the end. It looks like he's going to have just enough. He'll be finishing the race with the smell of an oily rag in that fuel tank. No backup tanks on these cars. 0.4 now the gap. Tom going to be hoping through this final few sectors that he's got something in the tank left over. This is such a tricky area to get right. He's got the very sharp entry there into 6, now 7 and 8. 0.4 is the gap, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Rounding the final corner though, Matt McEwen, the 128.855, the fastest lap of the race. He's led all of the laps in this race, and across the line, 2 wins in a row. Matt McEwen has had an unbelievable round 2, and it's going to gain him so many points. Is there a last-ditch opportunity here? Bad run for Gareth Collier. Adam's got a chance, but across the line, it'll be close. 0.145 between the two there, and unfortunately it's not enough as the cameraman gets all out of shape for this final stint there. We'll switch the cameras back. There we go. Back to Matt McEwen, and we'll get the full results up in a few moments' time. Ben Groves and Big Ed Ted, that battle coming to pretty much nothing at the end of the race after the strategy started to evolve, but Ben Groves able to pick up a very honourable P6 in the race. But what a battle for P2. Absolutely brilliant, and the last drivers coming across the line. We'll get our results screen up in a few moments. Absolutely brilliant race. You love to see it. Let's go and get ourselves ready for some interviews as well. But break it down. We had a great bit of strategy there. No one chose the hard tires. No surprise at all. The mediums went for plenty of time, but that 4 times tire wear, I think, catching a few drivers out.
Absolutely. Sort of as the tire wear evolved, they had to adapt their driving. A few drivers didn't adjust correctly and were getting a lot of penalties as a result. Those track limits, definitely a deciding factor in the end, as Adam missed out on an opportunity to go for the overtake right at the end due to that half a second track limit penalty. He was pushing hard and he did have a good race. He can certainly still be proud of his efforts, but yeah, third place behind Dive Cable as they cross the line.
Indeed. Okay, well, our results are coming up on your screens in a few moments' time. And of course, it was Matt McEwen. Once again, I mean, that's a 13-second lead. I think he did the first race in 11 seconds with the lead. So 2 very dominant performances by Matt McEwen. And that's a lot of points on the championship table for him in his drive towards another real-world drive experience, courtesy of Toyota GAZOO Racing New Zealand. Dive Cable finds himself in second position. That battle between him and Tom, if that penalty hadn't come for Tom, I'd tell you what, he probably would have been in second place. Tom definitely had the pace over Gareth Collier today, but does pick up third position. Both of them the first time on the podium for this series so far. Scotty Ray picks up a very good P4 at consistent pace all the way through. Bishop, of course, the recovery drive that he went on to end up last and 6 seconds down after turn 1 of lap 1, found himself back up in P5. Ben Groves finds himself in P6 with Big Head Ted in 7th and Biswas in P8. And we look down the grid at Alex Little and then, of course, Scar Matthew Budd. Olaf Flesh finds himself in P11 with Crimson in P12 in the very pink car. And that is your results for round 2. Impressive stuff there from all the drivers, and we're going to hear from a few shortly in the interviews. Matt, do we have anyone waiting already?
I believe we do, and it is one of the drivers we had been talking about. So if we're ready to jump straight across from the results into that, we can bring Tom into the interview room.
Fantastic. Well,
G'day,
Tom, great to
lads.
have you in here. Tom, fantastic drive out there, mate. Congrats on that P3. It was actually an unbelievably spectacular race from yourself. Just talk us through that first corner on lap 1. It all started kicking off around you. You managed to survive beautifully.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of luck to it. Simon lost himself on the curb and gifted me third place. And then I was fortunate enough to have, half a second or so of clean air in front of me to just drive normal lines while everyone behind me was, all over the place trying to figure out which way to go to get past people. So I ended up in a really good position just by chance, and then managed to get back onto McEwen and Gareth just because they were battling each other.
Absolutely. Well, it was a great battle to watch. When you started in that second stint, there was a bit of a gap, not too much of it, but your pace was clearly better. Unfortunately, the penalty at the end really did cost you. I hate to bring it up again. It's probably a little bit of a sting in the side right now, but the pace was incredible. What was the last couple of corners? You were about 0.145 to Gareth Collier at the end. Was there a chance for the lunge? Were you playing it a little bit safe? First podium of the season?
Yeah, I really lost my chance at second place when I got that penalty. I definitely caught him in the first half of that stint, and I got onto the back of him and decided not to go for a move with 3 or 4 laps to go because I didn't want to get into a battle with Gareth and offer the guys in 4th, Scotty, who drove awesome as well, by the way. I didn't want to offer him an opportunity at a podium just because me and Gareth were fighting, so I was happy to just sit behind Gareth till 2 laps to go, and then 3 or 4 laps to go I got that half second, which completely ruined my plan. And I managed to get close to him again, but as soon as we got through turn 3 on that last lap, I knew I wasn't going to get him no matter how close I got.
Yeah, he got a stunning run off the exit of turn 3 as well, unfortunately, which kind of sealed the deal. And it's not an easy place to go overtaking most of the time at Red Bull Ring. Let's wind back the clock a little bit. Race 1, Comfort Softs and a Toyota Group's GR86. Fun?
Yeah, keep the race cars coming. I know I'm rusty. I'm out of practice for sure, and it really shows. It showed in round 1, and it showed in race 1 tonight as well. I couldn't even set a quali time I balked all my laps. But the 86 was fun to drive. But if it wasn't in a competitive scenario, I'd have a great time driving it. But trying to be fast in it was just too painful for me.
Yeah, absolutely right. Looking forward then, next week we've got race 1, the Dallara SF23s. That's going to be a bit of fun. And then the Lexus RCF 2014s in race 2. These are race cars. You feeling confident?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Super Formula race. I feel like on paper that should be my best round of the season. But if it rains, I could be in real trouble because I'm not very good in the rain.
Let's see what happens. Equal condition modes turned off for the remainder of the season. One final question. You by far have the best man pad we've seen on camera so far. You've got the Vibe Cats in the background. Tell us, is this the man cave that we all dream of?
Yeah, man, it's great. Really happy with it. Had to work pretty hard to get it, and a lot of arm twisting for the fiance. But yeah, we got there, and I'm really happy, and it shows. You know, everyone really likes it. I really like it, so it's cool. Awesome place to come out and do some sim racing.
Excellent. Next live finals at your garage, I think. Before we let you go, any shout outs you'd like to make?
I don't think I really have anything, but shout out to the boys in front, Matthew, who drove a flawless race, and Dive Cable for giving me a great race as well, because he really dangled the carrot for me at the end of the race. And Scotty, poor Simon as well, for that incident at turn 1, lap 1, that just ruined his whole race, because I guarantee he would have been right up there with Matthew or Dive Cable that race as well.
Great. Well, a big congratulations from us here in the broadcast booth, mate. Great watching you drive. Thank you for the entertainment, and we hope to see you back in the interview box and on the podium again next week.
Cheers, lads. See you later.
Thanks very much. Righto. So we will now bring in another driver for our next interview. I think it's Matt McEwen. Matt?
It sure is. The man of the night. Poles and wins. Matt McEwen. You must be happy with that result, to say the least.
Oh yeah, absolutely stoked. There's not much more I can say about it. It's just a really, really good race, and it couldn't have gone, well, both of them couldn't have gone any better if I tried.
Absolutely right. And we do want to have Matt give you some questions. Matt versus Matt in an interview box. I'm all here for it. So I'm going to give this one to you, Matt, and maybe I'll take one question at the end.
Well, I mean, you put it all together in qualifying this week, and you were actually able to pull away early. What do you think the difference was? Last week you talked about how that was the mission, but it didn't quite go to plan. This week it all seemed to go to plan. Was there a difference you can pinpoint?
Yeah, I can pinpoint the fact that there wasn't a wall that I crashed into. That probably had something to do with it. Well, funnily enough, I mean, there were plenty of walls there, but, at least if you hit those ones, you don't lose 2 seconds. And so I think that was what made the difference.
Oh, it was a mega drive. And when you're out there, out in front, how was the focus levels? Because you were opening up such a big gap. The second half of the race, are you still able to be locked in? I mean, it's a long night of racing to be sort of on your own out in front.
Well, in the first race, I did start zoning out a little bit, actually. I was just trying to kind of relax and do some hot laps, and then the wind suddenly changed and made my braking points change slightly, and I got a couple of 1 seconds at the final chicane. So I was like, oh, okay, hold on, this is a bit of a wake-up call. So I woke up, started doing proper laps again, and then the wind changed and I got another penalty elsewhere. So, besides that, it was a pretty good drive, but yeah, a couple embarrassing penalties just to kind of, take the icing back off the cake.
That's interesting there, that the wind that you mentioned there, it's not something we'd spotted at the time, so that's quite an interesting pickup. And certainly we were spotting a lot of penalties. You're not the only one in the court.
I'm not surprised. I was just lucky that it didn't end up turning to chaos, because I looked behind me and I did see a couple of little scuffles there. I was very, very happy not to be involved in those, because then suddenly penalties are a big deal.
Mm. All right, I'm going to take that gap as the advantage and jump in again. Round 3 coming up. We've got the Dallara SF23s, Matt, and the Lexus RCF 2014 at Alsace for race 2. Looking forward to this one. What kind of chaos are you expecting out on track next week?
Oh, well, if the rain comes down, then we're all cooked. We're all going to be fighting for our lives, and it's just going to be a question of who well, one, has practiced the rain the best, and two, just keeps it calm and composed and doesn't make any little mistakes when, you know, the next lap's going to be wetter than the last. So, you know, you're braking earlier, throttling later, throttling so carefully. And then I don't really want to talk about Alsace because I think it's the worst track in the history of tracks. So, you know, it'll be whoever decides not to fall asleep.
Very good. Any shout outs to give before we send you away to celebrate your wins today?
I'd say Dive Cable had a really good run in race 2, and it was really good to see that he just kind of kept it all together. You know, he nailed the start and then did everything right, but you know, I just felt really good, and so I had to kind of stick it in there after turn 1 and 2 hadn't gone my way, and well, that worked out all right. But it was great to see Atom and Dive Cable have a really good battle back there, and I think 2/10 the gap between them at the end. It's really good to see that they were fighting right to the end.
Fantastic. Matt McEwen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Winner of both race 1 and race 2 today in round 2 of the GTNZC. Thank you very much, and we'll see you back here for next race next week, mate.
All right, see you then.
Thank you very much. Well, Matthew Smith, I have to refer to you with your last name, given we've had another man in by the name of Matthew. Let's take a look at round 3. We've mentioned it a couple of times. Race 1 will be taking the Dallara SF23 Toyotas. These are essentially the sort of, the super formulas. Yeah, close as we get to F1 in the Gran Turismo 7 platform. We'll be taking them to Spa-Francorchamps for a 21-lap open strategy race with high tire wear, high fuel wear, and the possibility of rain. Oh, if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. Race 2 will be taking the Lexus RCF 2014 to Alsace, not everyone's favorite track, for 15 laps in a sports medium tire, which is going to be a very interesting combination with a low tire wear and low fuel rate. Exciting, looking forward to race number 3. It's going to be an interesting combination.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, isn't it? Open wheels at Spa, and we don't have any hybrid system controversy. It's just going to be flat out in these Super Formula cars. They do have boost as well, so that's an extra bit of fun that we get to throw at them. I'm really looking forward to see how that one plays out. I really love those cars in Gran Turismo. And then, of course, going to Alsace. Matt doesn't like it, but this Matt likes it. I enjoy that track. I'm looking forward to those 15 laps, and that will be another sort of sprint race for race number 2 there.
There we go. You heard it here first. 1 out of 2 Matts will enjoy Alsace. It's a 50-50 split on the Matts in terms of that course. We'll see what we get up to next week. Join us same time, same place here on NZ Sim Racing TV for the 27th of July for round 3. And of course, a massive thanks to our primary sponsor, providing the real world drive to the winner of this series, Toyota GAZOO Racing New Zealand. And of course, let us know what your hectic race moment was out of race 1 and race 2. Is plenty to choose from, so let us know in chat. Get in touch with us via Discord or in the comments section, and let us know, because we are going to be featuring those at the start of every race going forward. So a massive thanks also to New Zealand Esports for helping us put on this event. A massive thanks to the New Zealand Sim Racing Collective, and you can check out their hub, the New Zealand Sim Racing Hub, on Discord and Facebook to find out what's happening in the world of sim racing here in New Zealand. A big thanks as well to TrackSpotTV for the broadcasting commentary, Hooncorp E-Sports for the administration, and Hectic News for doing what they do best and giving us all the insights that we ever needed for any part of what's happening in New Zealand sim racing. And a big thanks to all of you out there in the chat for joining us today for round 2. It's been a great pleasure bringing you this race. We'll see you back here for round 3. My name is George Cook, and we've been joined here by Matthew Smith, and we will see you for the next race. Until then, stay safe and see you next time.